Travelers on the Omnibus occasionally touches on mature subject matter with mature language. As such, the audience discretion is advised. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Travelers on the Omnibus, a field trip through nerd and pop culture. My name is James McCarthy.
I'm Brady Davis.
I'm Jody Kite.
And I'm Aaron Bernard.
Oh, what the hell?
Oh.
Who let that guy in?
Oh, shit.
Oh, my God, there's Ethan's dead body.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Well, you'd be like, oh, yeah. You're like Kool-Aid Man totally about this, right?
Well, no.
I heard you had
We got a narrative to keep up.
He wasn't quite as... he wasn't an asshole to me last time.
You were an
You've
asshole
already
to him,
accepted
though,
his
right?
being
Last
dead.
time.
Oh, my God. Last time. That's very true. There you go. We go. Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest tonight, former co-host of Paranormal Gumbo, one of the best paranormal and or science fiction-ish podcasts that I ever listened to, Mr. Aaron Bernard. Aaron, very welcome to the bus.
Paranormal.
This motherfucker's apparently never listened to any paranormal podcasts then. How you doing, Jay?
I did. It is the only paranormal podcast, so I didn't want to bring that up. But I tried to ignore that and just say you were the best.
That's like a shout out to Amber, my favorite daughter.
There you go.
My only daughter.
There you go. Absolutely. There you go. How you doing, Amber? You doing okay?
Hey, it still counts.
It still counts.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. But also, she is your least favorite daughter. Okay, there you go. There you go. Enough about family ties and whatnot. Brady,
Yeah,
what
fuck
have you been,
family.
What? Well, maybe not that far, but or maybe fuck
Motherfucker,
it.
we're not in Alabama.
Yeah, no, we're not.
No, we're in Mississippi.
Very close though.
You might as well
in
be.
Gautier, Mississippi. Brady, what have you been up to?
Hasn't been too much going on. I watched the premiere episode of the Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragon. It's fine. I'm gonna keep watching it. I don't know. I don't know if they've really learned many lessons. Hopefully, I don't know.
How stiff was
Is
that?
it just being fine? Is it just being?
He's fine.
Is he?
He's one of the more interesting characters in there. But there's no really like seriously interesting. Like there's no Tyrion where you're like, oh, this is a person. There's not even really like a Ned where you're like, oh, this is the main character or anything like this.
No one to cheer for.
No, there are people to cheer for, but it's not. There's just no like super like interesting characters. So
Overly
far.
charismatic.
But this is like the first
episode,
episode, so
right?
Maybe I don't know.
Is it just being okay? Is that a small victory? Maybe
You
I
think they're
don't know,
playing
maybe.
it safe?
I have no
because there was a
I
lot
have
of
no
disdain
idea.
after season.
Oh
8.
yeah, it
I was
completely.
about to say, I haven't seen this episode yet, but is it better than any episode from season 8?
That's a difficult question to answer. Because like I have very mixed feelings about season 8. Like I didn't hate it as much as everybody. I do think it was rushed. But I didn't have any problems with like what happened. I just wish it would have happened over like four seasons instead of 2. Instead of season 7 and 8 should have been like up to season 10. Possibly even more than that. I don't know. It's fine. It's something to watch and it's not horrible. But yeah, that last season, especially of Game of Thrones was so like disheartening for everybody that it Game of Thrones doesn't even exist in the zeitgeist anymore. Like they're having to literally build it back up with this new season. It's fine. I'm going to keep watching it. The really big problem is, man, if you thought it was hard to keep track of characters in Game of Thrones, it's even harder because there's all these fucking Targaryens and they all have like 4 names and that's it. And 4 names and like little.
They all look alike.
They all kind of look alike. That's not it. But like everybody, if you look at, so like I got really big into Game of Thrones when it was out. I read the books and everything and was excited before that. So I got really into like reading up on like the lore and everything. And the Targaryens are so fucking confusing because there's only like a handful of names and they're just conventions on each of the names.
And they keep fucking each other, right?
And they do all keep fucking each other. So it's like really hard to keep track. So there's like a Rhaenyra is like the main character, the younger girl. And then there's an older woman named Rhaenyra. So you see, there's there's
completely different.
Yeah, there's all of these because everybody wants to name their kids after Aegon, Visenya, or Rhaenyra. Like So everybody gets fucking these same fucking names over and over and over again. So it's really hard to keep track of who with what.
Stuff like that, because I didn't respect it at the time, but like there was in regular Game of Thrones, you had Osha, which was she a wildling? Yeah, she was a wildling that worked with the Starks and was helping Bran. And then you had Asha Greyjoy, who's the main female Greyjoy in that whole line. I never respected them changing Asha to.
Yeah, that annoyed me,
but now it's like, especially like when you've got literally just changing out syllables in names, it's very hard to keep track. And like they're not really clear. They could have called her Judy. Just Judy Targaryen, it would have been fine.
And it's really not clear. Like they show a whole lot of stuff with the small council, and I don't know half of these people's names. I know the main. The king right now is a character actor, Paddy Considine. If you saw a picture of him, you'd be like, oh, because he's like an Irish guy and like everything.
That's the main, like that's the king right now.
Yeah, he's the king.
Is the guy with the cuts from? Like,
no. That's fuck, I can't remember his name, and that's gonna bother.
So it's not him.
No, it's not him.
That's all you had to say.
But he's really good in it. But like. So and I know his name and everything, but I don't know like, and I know like there's a black guy that people got really mad that they cast him in this, even though it's a fantasy show. So like it doesn't really matter. But that's neither here nor there. I know who he is, but like all the other people, like there's 4 other people on the small council, and I can't tell you what their fucking name is, and there's no like. People that you're from, and there's no, so it's like 172 years before even the birth of Daenerys. So, there's nobody that you even kind of know. You see Baratheons here and Starks here, but they're just like very much background characters. I'm gonna keep watching it until it gives me a reason not to, because I mean, fuck, it's just something to watch. But it's fine. It's not like the greatest thing. It's not like a triumph, but it's also not. My enthusiasm for Game of Thrones has waned a lot. Like, if it probably will never happen, if Martin comes out with this next book, I'm not going to exactly even rush to go out and see it. Whereas 5 years ago, I would have ran out. Like I would have probably pre-ordered it whenever it came
Martin
up.
needs to just like hand the writing over to Stephen King, and because King will have that knocked out after a good 2 hour shit.
Yeah,
that's very
just straight
true.
up.
Yeah, I don't know. He probably won't. I've come to the conclusion that he'll die before he finishes this series, which is going to help when it actually happens. So I'm not going to be disappointed, but that's what I've been doing.
There you go. Around the table, Jody, what have you been up to?
I did 2 things. One a little bit shorter than the other. I've been playing Apex Legends, which is I played the game. I played Apex when it came out. And it was like very mundane to me when it came out, and now they've changed a lot. They've given a lot of character to the game. It's very much in the the comedic styling of Overwatch, like all the just the fun parts of that mixed in with some just straightforward first person shooter, not really objective based, thankfully. Just
so is it still a battle royale?
It's still a battle royale.
Okay.
But they have arena mode, and then they have like either duos or trios. And right now, I don't have anybody I'm playing with, so if I go into duo mode, I'm going in there by myself. I'll just click the option of not to fill the team and just see how far I can get by myself. And arena is like 3 versus 3, and it's close knit combat. Okay. So it's like very fast paced. However, the rounds, like, oh my lord, you never know when it's going to be over. Like, all right, game point, and you've already had like 8 battles in like 15, 20 minutes, and it's like it's a tie again. All right, you won that match. Tiebreaker. It's like when is this? This is Lord of the Rings of endings.
There you go.
So I did that.
Just 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Waiting for the ship to sail.
So I'm playing that until I get to level 10, so I can start playing ranked matches. Then I'm gonna see who wants to play that's already been playing the game, because I mean it's not gonna be any fun for them to play all the rudimentary stuff. So I'm trying to get grind out a couple more levels than that before I play ranked. And then for some random reason, Friday, Netflix dropped an 11th episode of Sandman. Which was it was it's a two-parter, 2 episodes and 1 episode together that have nothing to do with one another. You have the Dream of Cats,
Dream of a Thousand Cats, and
right.
Calliope.
And Calliope. Dream of a Thousand Cats is it's odd out in the scope of the Netflix show because it's animated.
Yep.
Which is kind of strange.
Well, I mean, how else would they do it?
Well,
I really like because it shows that like they might do this for, and there are several other like single issue stories that I'm hoping that they do this with later.
Right. For me, as a fan of like Gaiman and the Sandman, it made complete sense for him to do it. For any like out from an outsider's perspective, it might be kind of odd. For one, dropped an 11th episode a week after the show's over. But again, it didn't really fit into the scope of the show as a whole.
Yeah.
With that angle where you just have like, cats talking basically.
Plus, Netflix didn't want people to immediately cancel their subscriptions
right
after finishing it.
And then the Calliope episode, which in case you don't know Greek mythology, she's one of the muses. She's actually one of the 9 muses. There are 9 muses. There are not 3. There are 9, but most people don't know. After you get past...
There are 3 fates and 9 muses.
Yeah, there are 9 muses. So that episode is very interesting in a lot of ways, but, it was all right.
Yeah. It was... I enjoyed the episode. Those aren't... of like... Because for people who've never read Sandman, there's like story arcs, but then sometimes in between those major story arcs, or sometimes just in the middle of those story arcs, they will just have a single. He would do a single issue that's just like a
short story,
basically. And those 2 aren't my favorite of those. I know some people really like A Dream of a Thousand Cats, and I think it's because it does some interesting things.
It's different from everything else in the scope of things.
I don't hate either one of those, but they're not my favorite. I do like that they're definitely setting up Orpheus, because they hint at that Orpheus is Calliope and Morpheus' son in the Sandman. They're even later on, if there's basically a comic retelling of the story of Orpheus.
Spoiler alert, by the way.
Yeah. Spoiler alert for a 30-year-old comic.
Hey, shut the fuck up. It's spoiler alert, man. It's like the shark dies at the end of Jaws.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
1995?
Yeah. But yeah, I like those episodes. They were that episode, it was really good.
That's all I did this week.
There you go. Aaron, what have you been up to this past week?
Trying not to die.
That's a admirable goal.
Yes,
I like that one.
Month I've been sick. I had COVID, had freaking pink eye, strep throat. Got done with the strep throat.
Someone's trying to kill you.
I know, right? Yeah,
some cursed black plague stuff.
Like voodoo doll of me, and they're
yeah.
just like pinpricking me right in the freaking lungs or
There
some
you go.
shit. But I almost didn't make it today because I was telling Jay yesterday that I was feeling like shit. And today I woke up feeling a little bit better, so I'm like, I'm here. You may hear me cough, clear my throat, and get rid of some congestion. But
what's post-COVID life like?
It sucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it absolutely sucks because you still lose your breath. Doing stupid, mundane shit like standing up.
That's
I'm a fat dude. Like, you guys obviously can't see me, but I'm a fat motherfucker.
We can confirm for the audience he is a fat motherfucker.
That's not cool, man. Why are you calling me fat? Dude.
I calls them like I see them.
Fucking body shaming people now?
Yeah.
When I got sick last year, man, I was out of work.
You had Ultra Delta.
I had Ultra Delta.
Yeah.
So I was like sick for 2 weeks, and then I had to spend a week just getting my strength back before I went to work. And the first couple of days back at work was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I had been cleared for a while, but there was no way, man. I'd lost all my muscle energy and everything.
It's bad, man. It's horrible.
Oh, it's fucking awful. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
With that being said, though, couple of weeks back, you guys had Holder on here, and he said he's been playing Everquest because of me, but I've been playing the fuck out of some Everquest.
Oh,
Hell
okay.
yeah.
While I've been sick.
There you go.
I mean, that's
what
what's
else you
going
gonna
on.
do?
Yeah, exactly.
What point are you at it right now with it? Like
With Everquest?
Yeah, with their EQ, yeah.
Well, they've started TLPs, which is time lock progression servers. You may have heard of them, where they start at the base game, and you after a few months they release the next expansion. A few months after that, they release it.
So it not all the content is there, but you don't have to worry about not being in the old the upcoming content because it hasn't unlocked yet. Okay.
So when I started back in November of last year, they had just released Cunark
Okay.
and Arluckland. One of those two, I can't remember. So it wasn't very far.
Cunark was the first expansion, then Shadows of Luceland was the second.
So it had to have been Luceland.
Okay.
So right away I joined one of the top guilds on the server, and with each TLP they have special rule sets, and with the one I'm on, it's called Mischief. Let's say you're a level 60 raid mob, you can drop the loot from another level 60 raid mob in the same expansion.
Oh, okay.
So when they did that, they're like, well, we've got to make everything free trade.
Right.
So pretty much every item in the game is free trade.
Oh,
instead
holy
of,
hell.
no
Okay.
drop.
Right.
So you can gear your characters out really well. So right now I'm at the very top.
Oh, very nice.
Shaman at the very top.
stuff.
Top tier rating.
What's some favorite spots that you like going to in that game?
I just like to fish, dude.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I judge a lot of MMOs based off of their fishing minigame.
Yeah, the fishing mechanic in EQ sucks, but I just like to fish.
There you
It's not like World of Warcraft. I love World
Had
of
the
Warcraft.
best. I will say that for that game. Just drop the bobber, wait for it to bounce, catch that thing. There
Yeah,
you
this
go.
one right here is basically just press a button, but I mean, I can do it while I'm not doing anything else.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm watching TV or some shit.
There you go. You just do some
fishing.
chill stuff.
But-
Very nice.
But yeah,
I like
no,
it.
just trying not to die, playing EverQuest, and you guys obviously can't see me. I'm just under 6 feet tall, weigh a little over 340 pounds. I've got a big ass goatee. I'm trying to get it bigger. I work in the beauty industry, so I've been trying to get my lashes.
Yes.
I've been doing Nova Lash.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm trying to get my skills down on that. So.
Okay.
That's you learned that through Pat's wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Janice.
Yeah. Pat, real quick. Pat Thompson, friend of the show, and then her wife,
Janice Owens.
Janice. Yep.
Janice Owens Thompson.
Yeah,
She
there you go.
owns the beauty spot. This is my plug.
There you go. He's
There you go.
he's gonna do an early plug. We'll make you do another one. It'll be funny because you may not know what to do, or you may know exactly
do
know what
those
to
early plugs.
There you go. Yeah.
If you're like me,
Yeah.
when you're listening to a podcast, when they get to the plugs, you turn it off.
Yeah. Can't turn it off on ours because you don't know what the plugs are going to end up
That
being.
is very true.
It's very true.
Since you can't stop me, here's my plug. If you need your teeth whitened, contact Aaron Bernard on Facebook. If you
Aaron
need your
Bernard, teeth whitening.
Aaron Bernard. On
Aaron
Facebook.
Bernard, teeth
I
whitening.
can do teeth whitening,
Teeth, chomp, chomp, chomp.
Nova lash extensions, and soon spray tan.
Do you want your teeth to have the finest eyelashes? Aaron Bernard,
I'm-
teeth whitening.
You pay me enough, I'll do it.
Teeth eyelashes. That's ugh.
But no, that's pretty much what's been going on. Been trying to get my skills down, EverQuest, and not dying.
There you go. All in that order.
Yeah.
There you go.
Those
Very
are good
nice.
things to do.
Yes. Make sure you don't die after you've gotten done with your raid and
Where's the
EverQuest.
fun in that?
Exactly.
So, Jay, what have you been up to?
I've been up to two things in primarily. First of all, I finally picked up Live Alive. This is a game that I've been very excited about.
When I get paid this Friday, I'm definitely picking that
I need
up.
to
You want to get
soon.
Live Alive? Yeah.
Hadn't heard of it, but I saw some things about it, and I got super
So
excited.
this is a remake of a Square RPG that was only released in Japan, not even in the European continent. This is very cool. It's segmented chapters of stories that take place in different points in time. I picked the wrong one for me to keep my interest. So, near future. Okay, maybe a little sci-fi stuff that'll be good. Click. All right. So it's a biker gang, and you're a psychic, and you have hair like fucking Goku, and your default name is Akira. Your default name is Akira. And then I'm going to take you through the first 10 minutes of the game. So your dad gets killed by a masked biker, and then you go to an orphanage with your sister, and then it's a few years later. All the other kids are the exact same age, but you are somehow like 19. Don't ask. I don't know how it works either.
Japan.
But your sister's turtle is very sick, and he's about to die. And, I know who can help. The owner of the curio shop. So you go over to the curio shop, and the guy's got like a Polynesian, South Pacific vibe to it. He kind of looks like Dr. Ando Nuts from Earthbound. I'll get a little more about Earthbound just in a little bit in this. But you go downstairs. He has a teleportation machine, so you can teleport directly back to the orphanage, but it doesn't work and it explodes, so you have to run back there, and then you get there first because the curio shop owner is old as fuck. And he gets in there. Oh, this is very bad. And he brings a turtle robot with him. This will be clinched very here shortly. And it's like, oh, he is almost at but his mind is still good. So I will liquefy him and put him into this robot. And that's what happens. And then your first party member is your baby sister's liquefied turtle in a robot.
Wow.
This could not have been any more anime. If I could have helped it, like there's a giant robot that you have to awaken. That's the goal of it. There's a side thing where you can go like right before you go off to get to the curio shop owner. You can watch TV and there's a wrestling match between Misawa and Muto. And I'm like, you mean Mitsuru Misawa and the Great Muta? What the fuck? And so you keep clicking on the TV. It's like, what an exciting round, starting round 2. And you click again, what an exciting round, starting round 3. You can go to 101. You go to 101, and then it does another separate thing where it's like, oh, they're about to do something super cool, and then commercial. I'm like, 101 rounds and then a commercial. This is Japanese strong style. This is 100%, absolute, 10 out of 10. I'm enjoying it so far, but I will not lie to you. The theme of this chapter has really thrown me. It's like, okay, I'm gonna have to deal with this one, but yeah.
Yeah, from what I've read though, like if you don't like that chapter, just wait because the other chapters are nothing like that. They're all completely different.
I kind of wish I had started in the Edo chapter, just because I love Edo and Sengoku Jidai era Japan, so that might be a little bit cooler.
I think that's the one where you're a ninja, and you can do stealth. So
it's a stealth game instead of an RPG.
You can have
sometimes.
no encounters in that, like if you do the stealth right.
How far were you into it when you realized, oh yeah, I know what this wasn't localized back in the 90s when it came out?
The first minute. Yeah. The first minute. Like the opening for Akira, he just, all it is his eyes staring at you at the screen, and he's talking to you. I'm like, okay, cool. Like now I realize I'm not the character. I'm playing the character. I'm not supposed to step in as the character, which I think really helped me for that because I don't want to be an anime boy. Yeah. Because that literally that goes from like mecha to slice of life to like I got reincarnated as a slime vibes with the turtle. It's like all sorts of just weird shit that you're immediately thrown at you. But like I'm about 10 minutes in. I am enjoying it aside from what I kind of sound like. But yeah, that was this is going to be a journey. I can't wait to go on it. So yeah, that's Live Alive. So far, first impressions.
That's Square, right?
That's Square Enix. Yeah.
Like the same team that did Triangle and Octopath, I think, were involved.
It's the same. From what I understand, it's the same art team.
The same art team
because it's a 2D, it's a 2.5D art style, which they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah,
like just the little touches on things. Just great.
I've seen like. They like show differences between like the old version and the new version.
I like little Easter eggs. I mentioned the wrestling one, but if you go into the orphanage's main like classroom, there's a piano, and if you hit the piano every so often, it'll do different Square songs. Like one of them was the Chocobo theme.
Oh, nice!
So that was pretty cool.
I like that.
I enjoyed that. Yeah. So my second thing, starting tomorrow, I will have finally been on the coast back more days than I haven't been because I went to Nashville, Tennessee. As soon as we were done filming Wednesday night, I was pretty much on a plane the next day for Nashville. I was going up there. My best friend Flannel, shout out Flannel. Hey man, hope you're doing well. His father's 70th birthday, and his father asked for me specifically. I was actually planning on like visiting in November, but I thought, let's jump the timeline and get the whole family together. So like their whole family was there. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. We went to the Bavarian Beer House in Opry Mills. Ooh. If you have the opportunity to go to Nashville and you're spending a couple days, stop by there. That was some fine German cuisine, fine German beer. I was concerned because I read the menu, and if I read this wrong, I apologize, but it was like their house beer. It's like, oh, it's a house beer. Okay, it's like a house beer brewed in St. Louis.
Nice.
That's not
unless
this house is extremely large and stretches into St. Louis. This is not how this works, but it was very good. It was a good time. So here's a little anecdote. The plane, any plane trip from, at least on if you're flying Delta, from Atlanta to Nashville you're going to spend more time boarding and unboarding than you are actually in the air. We had just made our ascent, and then the pilot came over and said, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're beginning our descent now into Nashville. It's like, we just got up here. we're just it's like, is this descent like voluntary or something going on? Like, what the hell's going on here? I don't know. So on that trip, I was in a 737, and the 737s, at least this one that Delta had, have TVs on the backs of the chairs, and so like a multimedia thing, and you can like watch almost anything. The selection was very varied. I have to compliment them on that. You also have they also have complimentary earbuds. If you didn't bring any earbuds, you can just plug those right in and be good to go. I didn't on the ride up. I wish I had, because I'm sitting there, and to give you an idea of where my brain and body was at that point, I hadn't really slept well the night before getting it to Gulfport to take the flight. At Gulfport GPT International, the air conditioning had gone out, and so it was 92 degrees inside the terminal. Their solution for this was hand fans that looked like Mississippi, which Mississippi is many things, but geographically it's also not symmetrical, so you can't really get the wind to fucking hit your head right. So it's just not working. And you could have just gone outside. 102 degrees with the heat index. Yeah, it was still cooler inside the building. Right. So that's gone. Then I'm in a 717. Which the smaller the aircraft, the more it fucks with me. Like just my I don't know if it's about my equilibrium or what it is there. Then when I touch down in Atlanta, I've got 34 minutes to make it to the next plane. I was at Concourse D. The plane was at Concourse A. So I had to go down 3 concourses just to get to that. Thank God for the motorized sidewalks. That was cool. It's basically just an escalator that's flat. And just kind of go that. They have trams. I looked in there and I was like, they're stacked like there's 200 people in that for a thing that's a capacity of 100. And I'm pretty sure I can actually see the coronavirus kissing people on the cheeks. No, not going down in there. So I just go down. There's this really cool like art exhibit in between concourses B and A. It's very like blue and green lights, and it's nature sounds, and the lighting is like been disrupted by like these like lily pad and leaf looking things. Okay, and so it was very.
I'm surprised you took that in while you were sprinting through the treadmill.
I try to just like know my surroundings at any one time, just because I'm always expecting to get Terry-tated. Like I just like right now, like I'm sitting in a chair, I'm expecting a giant linebacker to just crush me.
For anyone who hasn't flown, just for the fact of you saying you had 35 minutes to get your plane after you landed is fucking insane.
Yeah, I thought, you see, because I hadn't flown in years. It's been more than a decade, so I thought, I just want the shortest layover, and I'm like, next time I'm gonna get at least an hour. Yeah, they have a giant Buffalo Wild Wings on the top of Concourse D, like giant, and I couldn't enjoy it because you had
to sprint to your next.
So I get to the plane, so I'm tired. My equilibrium's already shot. I haven't really slept. I'm sitting in this chair, so now I've set the scene for you. I'm in row 40. I'm in 45D, so I'm in the middle chair in the backest row. Okay, so there's like 6 chairs in front of me. They all have their earbuds in. They're watching Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It's like, okay, I'll just glance and it's all in various points in the movie because again, you've only got 30 minutes, so you really just catch the highlight, and that's all you really got. The person in the middle sitting right in front of me, for some reason, was watching It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh no.
Okay.
And they didn't have their earbuds in, so the audio's coming out of the speaker from the chair.
Oh God.
So I'm surrounded by Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness with the audio from fucking It's a Wonderful Life. I started losing it. I was like, Mary, the Darkhold's taking control of you. America, you've always been able to use your power.
Mary, you can't go dream walking. That's not allowed.
So, yeah, I was just hallucinating Jimmy Stewart as Doctor Strange.
Jesus Christ. That is terrible. They should not allow you to do that.
They did.
Every time a bell rings, someone gets a third eye.
Yeah, there you go. So if you ever have a chance to combine a viewing of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, do 3 screens of it, set it to all different times in the movie, mute that shit, and then put on It's a Wonderful Life.
That is not Dark Side of the Oz.
Specifically the scene where the child drowns in the lake because that person rewinded it twice.
Oh.
What? Yeah. It was
what the hell?
Yeah, like that trip to Nashville was just filled with fun.
Good little nuggets.
There you go. So yeah.
I got an edible I'm going to eat, and I know what I'm going to do when I get home.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull a J.
There you go. Exactly. just watch Endgame, but also Streetcar Named Desire. The audio from Streetcar Named Desire. It's like instead of it's like I am inevitable. It's be like Stella. Snap. It'd be fun. Great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's what I did this week.
Well,
Watch Thor: The Dark World and On the Waterfront.
Oh, there we go.
Loki, I could have been a contender.
We'll go with Thor, Ragnarok, and the Grapes of Wrath.
Yeah. We went heavy into the Brando there.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know. Yeah, you said Brando, so
Yeah,
I
it's like-
immediately thought of another Brando
let's
movie.
bring it back to the original. It's like if you were watching Episode 7, The Force Awakens, but also Rear Window.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Man, it'd be great. But yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you for showing up for this latest 22nd. This episode, rather this whole podcast. Can
2 and
break
2.
now. Yes. On whatever station you get your podcast from. If you have friends who would like to listen to this, we are available on Spotify, Anchor. I was about to say SoundCloud. We're not rappers yet. I
Speak
got
for
to,
yourself.
where can we get your SoundCloud
shit.
bars?
Yeah, you can't.
Oh,
It's
okay.
exclusive. It's like the Wu-Tang last album.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
NFT Wu-Tang album.
So there's
that's
one
what-
like weird ass CEO who has your album, and
Martin
that's it.
Shkreli,
Yeah,
and he
it's
doesn't
Farmer
have it
Bro.
anymore.
I know he doesn't have.
That's
it
one of the
anymore.
greatest things the government did. They took the last
Yeah,
Wu-Tang
yeah.
album away from Martin Shkreli. I'm
Yeah,
very
don't
happy
say the
about that.
government never did anything good.
There you go. But yeah, Spotify, Anchor, Apple, and Google Play. Good
Yep.
stuff. All right, we have some passenger feedback, gentlemen.
Oh.
We have some proper. One of them is from me, so it
Oh.
just very sad. But so I edit the podcast, and so I'm listening to last week's where we talked about board game mechanics, and there was the mention of semi-cooperative games where everybody's kind of has to work together, but only one person can win, and how a lot of times those things just get ignored. Like if you're playing Marvel Legendary to beat people.
Yeah.
It's like, no, just win the game first. It's hard enough as is. Another game that's similar to that. So I'm editing that part, and then I look up because I have my board game collection in my editing room, and I look up and I'm like, Castle Panic. Why didn't I mention that one?
Oh yeah,
Because
It's
Castle
kind of-
Panic is not co-op. It is semi-cooperative. You're supposed to rate like you have to win, and then whoever killed the most stuff, that's the winner.
Yeah, yeah.
I
forgot
played
about
that. I
It's
played
been-
that way one time, and everybody hated it because it was like we almost didn't win. We had like one tower left and managed one wall to go back up. Don't ask how. I think we had some extra concrete and plaster, and we got it up, and that was it. But yeah, there was that. And so then I'm continuing going back, and then there was mention of auctions, and then I look up. It's like Raw.
Oh yeah.
Why didn't I mention the greatest auction game of all fucking time?
Raw is
Yes,
a really good auction game.
one of I would argue Reiner Knizia's greatest game of all time. A lot of people would say Tigris and Euphrates, but I'm looking up at Raw. Raw is a great. It's push your luck auction because you have a bag that you draw from, and the person whose turn it is, you just keep dropping tiles down until a raw tile comes, and then you must auction. But at any point in that, like, oh, I like these things. You know what? Auctioning now. Then the auction goes around the board, and one of the biggest things about that game is your auction chip, which you use to win the auction with, that then goes onto the board. And so the next auction, in addition to winning the stuff, also gets that auction chip.
Oh, okay.
So your ability to do these auctions at the end of the game or in the beginning, at the beginning of the round, violently fluctuates by the end of the round. So I love the mechanics in that.
Yeah, it's a really good.
When
really good
Knizia is
game.
on, Knizia is just
Yeah.
absolutely on.
Was there anything else to do with your feedback?
We got a feedback from another passenger.
Well, I wanted to mention one thing.
Because is this about Mancala and Five
no,
Tribes?
no.
Because we mentioned that after.
No. Drafting. We didn't mention drafting or Seven Wonders or
That's
any
good,
of those mechanics. I forgot about drafting. I do like drafting as a mechanic,
Drafting is very
depending on the game.
See, there's my caveat.
I like Seven Wonders.
Like drafting, it's honestly, I think it's the reason why I've always been. No, there's two. I don't like the theming of Blood Rage, but I also, if you sit down with 5 people who know what they're doing in Blood Rage, it's a fantastic game. If you have one person who doesn't know what they're doing,
Yeah, it fucks everything up.
it completely throws that whole game off.
Either everybody has played a lot or everybody has never played before. That's the only two ways.
Yeah, my love of drafting games comes from Magic,
Obviously.
drafting
Oh, yeah.
Magic.
But yeah,
so.
I love drafting. I like the Seven Wonders style. I even like different other styles of drafting where the cards are just down on the table and you're
right.
picking them up or whatever. So.
I mean, that's sort of like Spice Road is. I mean, not maybe not, but you are pulling from.
There is a drafting thing with that. You just also have like kind of not a deck building, but a hand building mechanic with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So for me, I like the mechanic, but it really is the gears.
It varies on the game.
It's the gears that
and
make
the
that
people
machine
and the
run.
game. Yeah.
Like Seven Wonders, you can be done with Seven Wonders and then play another game of Seven Wonders, and then as you can slowly build up that kind of rhythm with it. Where Blood Rage, learning that, honestly, I would say play some other drafting games first. Because every drafting round of Blood Rage is then broken up by the actual action round, where then those actions you drafted are.
Would you say
Blood
Rage is an entry game for anybody who's drafted Magic? Like, does that have a similar feel to it?
If you've drafted Magic before and are good at it, yes, go into Blood Rage. If you can't draft in Magic, Blood Rage, you will king make without trying. Somebody else.
Yeah. My problem with Blood Rage is that you also have to know what the cards are, or at least
some of the iconography.
Maybe not know what every card is, but know what like the types of cards are. Like, that there are Loki cards in here. That in this phase there's this Loki card that you maybe don't need to give somebody this and that other card, or.
Drafting's also really hard to teach value because let's say. Okay, so everybody gets their cards, and you see this Loki thing. If I lose this battle, I get to take. Well, I don't want to lose battles, so I'll just go ahead and pass it. You don't see the other ones where, like, if you lose the battle, gain a glory. If you lose this battle, like all these other little things, and you might not see those cards until they're actually put into place.
Yeah.
So like, unless nobody knows what they're doing or everybody knows what they were doing.
Yeah.
Blood Rage for me is like, if you're in that middle ground, that can be really
that's one of those three games is kind of at my bottom. But I still really enjoy the game. It's just like
I like it okay. Yeah. It's not like, something
I
that
like the other two better.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys. I love Blood Rage.
I love Blood Rage too. It's just it has that problem.
Like, real quick, just general. When I say Blood Rage, top 10, top 5, top 3, top 1 as far as board games for you.
For me,
it's
probably in the top 5.
Top 5, okay.
Yeah, I just love.
I knew you loved it, but I didn't know to how strong.
It's probably one of my favorite board games.
Okay,
top 5, maybe even top 1. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, that's very good. No, but I put you on the spot there, but I just kind of wanted gut reaction. What was there?
Oh yeah, no, I love the game. The Loki strategy, like you said, if people don't know what they're doing, it's gonna fuck them over.
Yeah, and it leads to literally a negative play experience. Like I had one time where I was playing it, and friend of the show Michael hadn't played the game, and I was sitting on the other side of him. And before we finished with the third round, everybody was like, "I don't want to play," because I was already like lapping people.
And you were already like over 100. I remember that game. That was insane.
If you have like real quick for anybody who's not aware of how Magic drafting, Magic has 5 colors in it, and some cards are like 1, 2, 3 colors or whatnot. If you have 2 people at the table that either don't know what they're doing or just like taking all of the colors, you're getting mixed signals when you're getting blind pass cards. You're like, oh, red's open, I'm gonna start taking red cards, and then when it starts switching to the next direction, like, oh, red's not open anymore. I guess I gotta switch to green. Oh, well, what's happening? Oh, some idiot at the table drafted 5 colors because he didn't know what he was doing. So I guess it's a similar situation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, Jody, was that
That's
you?
it. That's it.
All right, we're going to go into our emails from our friend Jason Kennedy, a.k.a. Hat. He had a couple things from a couple episodes. So here we go. Hey, everyone. I was recently listening to some of your podcasts, and I had some comments. I empathize with Ethan, as I also had code enforcement called upon me recently. For those trying to, did a spit take. For everyone who, again, you can't see this.
Close to a spit take.
Jody did a spit take.
Hit me, dude.
He got spit on. So first of all, Jody did a spit take, and Jody spit on Aaron. So these are two firsts for the podcast. Yeah. So Hat, congratulations, man. You are the cause of change down here. It's very good. But yeah, I empathize with Ethan, as I also have had code enforcement called upon me recently. It seems so odd that they were worried about a few boxes and a neatly placed piano in my carport when 3 other neighbors nearby had whole trees knocked down in their yards. After returning on Saturday from taking the piano to the dump, I found out why they were called. Apparently, debt collectors are calling code enforcement to get people out of their homes to summons them to court. In this case, the debt collector was after the dead former owner of my house, so I told them good luck with that. That makes my whole Jimmy Stewart multiverse of madness story pale in comparison.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes. Next, I was curious about Brady's trip to the World War II Museum and what he thought of the building itself and if that had any displays on buildings that were there that were historical. I was on the archaeology crew that did the excavations for the new building, and there had been historically a Chinese laundromat across the door from the original building. We even found caked washing powder and a mahjong tile in the rubble.
So I can't speak to anything about that because I did not do like any looking into the historical
of the building itself.
Of the buildings itself, because they're all like new buildings, and for a while there, I've been to the museum several times throughout my life. I want to say in high school I went. No, it was in it was in high school I've went, and it was just one. This was back when it was the D-Day Museum, and it was just one building. And then then I went in college, and there was a second building where they had like the theater and all that stuff. And now there's like 4 or 5 buildings, so I have no idea what has been demolished. It's New Orleans, so probably they demolished some kind of historical stuff. I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
Well, again, if they had, like real talk, Jason, a.k.a. Kennedy, a.k.a. had. He asked me to only do one a.k.a., but I'm going to do at least 2. Because
Yeah.
One of my favorite people on the planet. He is a proper archaeologist, got his master's in archaeology from Mississippi State. I actually drove him up to Starkville the day he was able to finalize his master's thesis, and I'm actually a part of that thesis as a special thank you in the thank you section. So I am recorded in Mississippi State's library. What a good thing for an Ole Miss boy to be. Ha 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 ha. There we go.
I tell you something that I can do, because I did get like one of the little maps and everything, and I can, when I get home, I can like take a picture of that map, so because it clearly shows like where all the buildings are, and send it to Jay, and he can, I don't know if he can send it to you.
I think I'll send it to him, and I might even put that on the Instagram.
Or put it on the Instagram, or something like that.
Deal.
So you can see. I'm not super familiar with New Orleans in general. Like I'm familiar with it, you know, in a very, very general sense, but like I can't tell you.
Would you say like a tourist sense?
Probably, yeah, more like a tourist sense.
Okay.
I'm not. That's not something that I'm interested in, like seeing like the history of what used to be there and everything like that. I was there for the World War II shit. That's what I was eating up.
I'm always fascinated by the old bones of a city.
Mm-hmm.
Like
the cobble.
You think, like, you see the museum, it's like, okay, the World War, like, what was there before? And like at one point there was a Chinese laundromat, and like what kind of, you know, it's like, not just the mundane city life, but how people filled out their days doing mundane stuff, and like what might have happened there.
That is kind of interesting, but it's just not.
Yeah,
something
I mean, that's why
I didn't do any research on.
I haven't been in the French Quarter. I mean, I haven't been in the French Quarter or New Orleans in forever. But French Quarter is pretty much, you know, I know it's a tourist area, but it's also like untouched for the most part.
It's a really old part,
you know, and cobbled stone roads and all that fun stuff. So.
All right. Final bit. Here you go. My final feedback. Through your shows, you have often made passing comments about greats of the genre or fathers of that genre. In particular, when we talked about H.G. Wells being the father of science fiction. I got a small feedback on that, and many people, and I was going to say many people, the person who commented on that, no Mary Shelley. Frankenstein was well before H.G. Wells. So
yes, and I acknowledge that her historical significance for being a female writer, especially, and pretty much being part of creating a genre of that magnitude. But one book versus like 30. You know, Wells wrote 30 in like 2 years. I mean, that's the only. I'm not comparing,
and that wasn't part of what Pat had, but
there's something about being the first, and I think. That's probably something to do with our bias. Sorry about that. Like it is, you know.
And I mean, hell, like, can we argue? Like,
also memory.
Did she have other things she had written and we just never knew about it because she was a woman?
Well, her husband was so terrible at poetry, I could have forgotten just through that osmosis.
There we go.
Percy Shelley is shit at poetry. Call me out.
Mary Shelley. She also lost her virginity at her mother's gravestone.
Oh.
So
nice.
So she lived that life.
So she was goth. Oh
yeah,
man,
she was the first goth.
She
girl,
was in the movie called Gothic as a character.
Sure,
it's fucking weak.
It was terrible. It was awful.
I'm glad. Sometimes I can't say what I want to think, but Aaron's here to be my conscience. I appreciate that. Going back to the email, one that has been blown past several times with no mentions have been the fathers of sword and sorcery. Many are familiar with the works of Robert E. Howard and Michael Moorcock, but I would suggest getting to know two of the greatest swordsmen of all time, Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser, authored by Fritz Leiber. Leiber's introductory work to the character Sword and Deviltry, while short, is highly recommended reading. Gentlemen, because we've already got like the next 3 episodes plotted out, but like say after 25, do we want to try Sword and Deviltry by Fritz Leiber? Because I will say this, one of my best friends, Hat here, but also another one of my best friends in this life, Michael McMullen, he loves them so much. His online handle for years was Grey Mouser. This is something I've always wanted to kind of tackle because it's always kind of been in my periphery, and I think this would be a good idea for maybe a book club where all 4 of us don't know what the hell we're talking about.
I mean, it depends on how big the book is too.
Yeah.
Just for the show reason.
This email comes after a phone call from him because he actually called me. He called me while I was on the way to the airport, and then I talked to him while in the airport, which honestly saved me from the 92-degree heat. So, Hat, again, thank you, brother. He mentioned that it's like that's something I've always wanted to read. I think he said it was like maybe the 2 stories together are 200 words. We may want to look 200 pages. Excuse me. So it's something that we might want to look into. Like if we plotted it now, we got 4 weeks to do 200 pages.
Yeah, if it's something like, if it's more like a novella type thing like that,
right? Like the
that's what I've been kind of looking for things like that. I found a couple of things that are about that length. I would be fine with doing
it.
That
Sounds fine to me.
But
so,
if it's a really big
but
thing.
let's look at off book. Let's look at what we're dealing with.
Right.
And in the future, ladies and gentlemen, you might be getting a book review about Fritz Leiber.
Probably by at least
Swords
by
and
episode
Deviltry.
30, I would think.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
No promises.
We could probably
no
promises.
No promises, but I would say maybe a high amount.
A high possibility.
There we go. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, as always, and that again, Jason, Hat, Kennedy, Siggy, Legionnaire, you told me not to do that, but I do it anyway because that's how I work on this podcast. If you enjoy our show and you want to leave passenger feedback, or if you hate our show and you also want to leave passenger feedback, Travelers on the Omnibus with 1 L on Travelers. Again, Travelers on the Omnibus at gmail.com. We will do everything we can to get you mentioned on the show.
You could also message us directly on Spotify.
Yes, as well as take part in our episode polls and questions.
And Ethan Bingo.
And Ethan Bingo. Yeah. Someone may wonder about this. Ethan is not dead. Queen B, aka Bianca, celebrated her 21st birthday, and so he is celebrating that with his lady love. Ethan, congratulations. Bro.
All the happiness.
They're over at the Hard Rock right now. One more thing before we hand the keys of the bus off over to Aaron for our main topic. Jody, I had to ask you something in cipher systems. I got the cipher system.
Oh, I was wondering why that was on the table.
Yeah, no. So I brought it in, and I was going to ask this, and
that's the second edition.
Why is there Brady bingo inside of the cipher system? So we have So I was doing the edit for last week, and I remembered it briefly. in the episode. You mentioned there's probably going to be a Brady bingo in the week, and then I heard it like 5 more times because they're doing the edit, and it just kind of emboldened my brain. So, ladies and gentlemen, this week we'll be playing Brady bingo with such things as passive, be aggressive. Don't mark anything yet because we're starting fresh.
Oh, I love
We're starting fresh. Other than maybe Brady not hosting. If
That's
Brady
the one
not
I marked.
okay, Brady not hosting was going to be on there. But as we saw from last week, it could just happen.
I think you just saw the one I love.
My favorite one is Brady has a stroke. Parentheses, not real. If real, stop playing. Stop playing immediately.
That one's very nice, but Brady's a catty bitch. Is my
Brady's
favorite.
a catty bitch. I call him a catty bitch every once in a while. So
All the
good.
Ethan ones won't count for anything.
Yeah, unless we call him and we get him on the phone and then put the microphone up to the phone.
Brady's
But we'll
annoyed
see.
by Jay. Fuck. That's like that should be the free square.
Yeah, there you go. Brady's annoyed by. If you'll notice, there's like Brady is annoyed by Jay. Brady's annoyed by Jody. But there's also Ethan. Brady respects Jody's opinion, but there is none such for mine. So this is Dave. We go there. So just make sure that's there. Another favorite one of my favorite things that he does is Brady says cool, and just like it's just kind of in there. So we got Brady bingo this week, ladies and gentlemen. If you'd like your own copy of Brady bingo, email us at travelersontheomnibus@gmail.com and we will send it to you. There you go.
It's not fun when it's about me.
I can't wait for mine.
Are you annoyed with me?
No. I'm fine.
Cool,
Okay.
cool, right?
No.
God,
Brady goes
holy-
mad crazy. Fuck
Nope.
you, Brady.
No, that's mad. I'm mad crazy. Mad crazy is like, like when Ethan went, I am host. This is my host. Like that's mad crazy. If you get something like that out of Brady, then yes, mad crazy. I can't play because I have to adjudicate this shit, and Brady obviously can't play because
I think half of this shit happened in the last 2 minutes of the last episode.
Yeah, oh, definitely the mad
So-
crazy went. I mean, it was just the way it was. But yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, Brady Bingo is in effect. If you've gotten your Brady Bingo cards already, you already have a jump start on the Travelers. But we like to offer our passengers a little extra leeway when we're doing this stuff. So, without any further ado, Aaron Bernard, tell us about our main topic this week.
Today we're talking about cryptids, mainly North American cryptids. I think Brady said something crazy fucking dumb, like I'm just going to stay in Mississippi, which is weird, but...
No, I didn't say that. I said I was going to specifically look for some to see if there were any specific to Mississippi.
That's not what you told me. Are you getting mad?
No.
Fuck.
Yeah,
Calm.
It's mad crazy. Mad is not enough. It has, and then crazy
Well,
is
you see,
not
I got to get
enough.
him mad first and then mad crazy.
Yeah,
I
I
get
will.
that.
I will tell you
Exactly.
right now. We tried to make some of these happen with Ethan last week, and they just had to happen naturally.
It just happens now.
Yeah.
They just had to happen naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, cryptids. Everyone here knows what a cryptid is, right?
If you don't, cryptids are those special zoological things that we cannot properly describe, like Bigfoot or the Mothman or the
My favorite
Jersey
definition
Devil.
comes from the Urban Dictionary. It's not a fucked up one. An
Oh,
obscure,
wow, that's
undocumented
surprised.
creature typically originating from folklore.
Oh, yeah.
Typically mythological in nature, but not necessarily supernatural. So, I mean, that's what it is. It's like Jay said, like Bigfoot is a cryptid. That's the kind of thing we're going to be talking about. I looked up some really obscure ones. One of them I covered on Paranormal Gumbo with Angel. So if you listen to that, you would know a little bit about it. But, that's the way it's going to be. Yeah, fuck you, Brady. Yeah. Yeah, you're just like Trish. I'm like, hey, did you listen to the episode? And she's like, huh? What are you talking about? It's like, fucking shit.
Was your episode on Stitcher?
No.
Okay, then that's what I listen to all my podcasts
We
on.
were on Spotify and
Amazon?
Apple Music. And
Those are the two things I got.
You think, like, if in the moment, if you think that's bad, this man's been bugging me about, like, it's on Stitcher yet, and I'm not listening to it. And then
I
he
think
gives
we
the,
started
and
on Stitcher, but Angel's the one that covered all of that.
Well, again,
so
like I'm not going to listen to these podcasts because I really, 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 really do not like listening to my voice. Just this right now is not great.
Well, yeah, I mean, you do have a fucking annoying voice.
I
but,
know.
mean, yeah. So Angel's the one that covered all of the technical aspect of that, and I was just the funny dude.
Yeah.
Like, and some of my jokes didn't come in. It was called Paranormal Gumbo. We talked about all things paranormal. The very first shows we did, the first 3 episodes we did, were covering the Pascagoula alien abduction in the 1970s.
Okay.
What Fire in
that
the
was the
Sky
Fire in the
is.
Sky ones.
No,
right?
no. The Fire in the Sky was in Montana, I believe.
Was it now?
Yeah.
Why did I think that was?
I thought that was the
about
Gaucher,
Gulf Coast.
Mississippi
No, this was
thing.
in Pascagoula at the bridge. 2 men got abducted. It's a whole big thing.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually interviewed the one man that was still alive.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
wow. That's cool.
She was the one that did all of the research, and she's had pages and pages of shit she wanted to
wow.
talk about. And I knew what I wanted to talk about, and I had bullet points.
Right.
And I was there to make the show funny.
That's
Yeah.
all of us. That's all what we try and do.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, some of my jokes didn't get in the air. Like we were talking about Ghost one day, and I just leaned back and yawned a little bit, and I was like, "Oh, hey, you ever lean back and yawn and it kind of catches your throat a little bit? Maybe there's a ghost in the room sticking his dick in your mouth." For some weird reason, she didn't want that to be in the
Oh, man.
in the episode. I don't know why.
I promise you, it will be in this
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah. We have no
Thank you,
qualms.
Jay.
Yeah.
against,
We will not take your voice away on that
Yeah,
one.
we're not
That
anti-
ghost is trying to take your voice away.
we're not anti-ghost dick on
Big
this.
meaty ghost cock, right? Like that's going to be
That's
the
the
thing.
third
now.
T-shirt.
It's a big veiny ghost cock. Looks like a fucking white
Travelers
Snickers.
on the omnibus. Pro ghost dick.
Yeah, I want my 10%.
5.
Put that on a
Done.
bumper sticker.
All right.
Hell yeah.
I'll give you 10% on the bumper stickers.
Awesome.
There we go.
That'll work.
right.
For
Yeah, no,
your,
we had fun. We did stupid, crazy shit sometimes. We did. We went to Josette's before they actually closed down. Josette's is haunted as fuck.
Oh, I
Or
bet.
it was.
Yeah.
Like when it was a milk factory, people died there. Like
Oh,
left and
shit.
right.
oh wow.
So we went there and we did some video recordings, some EVP stuff, and just standing in the middle of a room, we were getting orbs.
Oh,
and a lot of people are like, oh yeah, it's going to be dust. It's like, dude, there's no AC on.
Right.
We stand in the middle of the room for several minutes, let everything like settle, and the only thing we're doing is like we've got the light on our phone, on our camera, and we're just turning slightly, and shit's like coming towards us and turning a different direction. It's like, what the fuck's going on here? It was some good stuff.
Yeah, it was a little like little light orbs is like a signature that there's some sort of like presence there.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, and then the EVP, that's like the audio,
electronic voice phenomenon.
right?
Usually you can hear it on playbacks of recordings and stuff like that. You
Right.
can't normally hear it with your naked ear, but you start listening to it again, and especially with equalizers, you can see where there's a jump where there shouldn't be,
Right.
and you can go back and you clean stuff up, and you can get some stuff like that. We got a few little things, but nothing major.
Right.
So yeah, that's what we did. We had fun with it. Unfortunately, COVID hit. My co-host has a ton of health problems, so we thought it was safer for her just to stay home.
Gotcha.
And we tried doing a few different things, but it didn't just sound right.
Right.
I started going to school to be an esthetician, and it just kind of fell apart from there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So,
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the curriculum vitae for one Aaron Bernard. And the reason why we are very happy for him to be our co-host here on Cryptids tonight.
Yeah, we've been looking forward to this for a while.
Like super looking forward
Definitely.
to this. Yeah, so...
I'm rusty as shit, by the way, guys.
Oh,
I'm
that's-
sorry.
yeah.
Okay.
we don't even have. So like we would...
Yeah.
Rusty would mean we
would
have.
like to have
Yeah.
rust.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. But yeah, we're
Yeah, we're
gonna be
not a
talking
dull
about-
blade. We're an iron bar. Like we're
Yeah, you're like the fucking round piece of metal before it gets like.
We're the
forged
schematic
at
of
all.
an iron bar.
You're still in the goddamn ground, bro.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what you
Yeah.
are. Fucking Jody hasn't even been thought of yet.
No.
But you are the oldest one here, right?
I am always the oldest one in the room,
Old-ass
unless
people, man.
you know Greg
I think
is
I'm
present.
the youngest. No, you are. How old are you?
I'm 35.
yeah,
about to be
fucking tiny
36.
little baby. I think I'm older than you too, Jay.
42 here.
Oh yeah, 43 right here.
All right, there you go.
70s club, buddy.
There you go, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, nice.
72.
Just barely 4 days. December 27th,
Oh, nice.
79. Like I just barely made it.
Nice. I am older than you.
Yes.
Like I was February 26th, 79.
Okay, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
About 10 months? Yeah. 10
Generation
months,
X represent.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Calendars, how do they work?
What do you mean?
I don't know. We're just having a lot of discussion about calendars.
Calendars. Calendars. The fuck, man? How do you guys put up with this shit?
How do we put up with each other? What do
We
you talking
usually
about?
have Ethan to focus all.
Yeah,
our
we should on
eyes
Ethan
on.
a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I would love for you guys to have me back when Ethan's here because fuck that dude. Like I love Ethan, but fuck that dude.
You love the person, but fuck the dude.
Yeah,
is what you-
yeah.
Okay.
He
yeah,
is
yeah.
a-
His
He-
podcast personality is what you're talking about, right?
No. Just fuck that dude. Like he knows that I like him, but fuck that dude. How you guys doing? I'm Aaron.
If I didn't edit out the previous part, which we had to edit for reasons, you know why he said that. If you don't know why he said that, only 3 people in the world other than him know why he said that.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there. So the Bigfoot?
Yeah, we're talking cryptids here. Bigfoot. Everyone knows Bigfoot. Everyone knows the Mothman because of the Mothman prophecies. You know, so
That's one of the. I like that movie a whole lot. That's one of the reasons
I
why
loved
wanted-
it.
Yeah.
and I'm going to tell you guys
I
right
heard
now.
bad things about it, so I never got around to watching
It's a
Same.
good movie.
It's good. It has one of my favorite communal moments in a theater. Spoiler for an almost 20-year-old movie, but whatever. So Richard Gere is the lead, and his wife died I believe in Point Pleasant, and so he's like trying to figure out what things are. And so he's looking to go to bed, and it's like he lays and like he's sitting in the bed, and like you can see the other side of the bed, and there's nothing there. And then he kind of lays down, and then he gets back up, and like that side of the bed is crossed again, and then he goes to turn to that side of the bed, and Deborah Messing's just there.
Oh, shit.
And then there's no shock tune, there's no anything like that. Everyone in the theater, and this was South Haven, Mississippi when we watched this, everyone in South Haven went, like at the same time, at the same volume, at the same
Nice.
rhythm. And then everyone just started laughing it off because it was serendipity that happened. That was like one of my favorite like theater moments ever.
Well, that's an effective use of a scare in a movie.
Yeah,
instead
absolutely.
of just having
No music.
some shitty
No music,
cue.
no sting.
No
it just
music's
went
the
straight
best
to it.
thing.
I love horror films. I'm not a big fan of jump scares. I love the slow builds.
Yeah.
Sometimes
And
the jump
that's kinda
scare
what
can be
it was.
good, but they have become very overused
And very typical.
because it's cheap. It's a cheap thing. Sometimes you can build it up and it can be very
Right. I think
effective.
to me the best jump scare for my personal taste is in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre when he knocks on the door and then the door opens and then the hammer comes down and it's boom, boom,
God,
boom, and
that's
there's
so
no
effective.
and there's no music.
Well, the music literally is his head getting like meat tenderized.
Right.
Yeah,
in,
and then
yeah.
and then his body flopping on
His
the floor.
legs
Yeah.
shaking instantly. But Bigfoot
Yeah.
Yeah, Bigfoot.
or Mothman
or Mothman
or Jersey
Your
Devil.
Mothman,
Yeah.
your abominable
Ba-
snowman.
Banshee of the Badlands.
Yeah, I could have gone easy with like the Jersey Devil, but everyone knows what the Jersey Devil is. Went obscure and
I was actually surprised. Just a quick little note on the Jersey Devil. I was surprised to find out one of the ways the Jersey Devil kind of came into existence is that Benjamin Franklin really hated another dude that did an almanac alongside his almanac. And so he just started talking mad shit about him in his own almanac. And then the guy died and his son took over and he just kept talking about, yeah, your dad's dead. Fucking Benjamin
Wow.
Franklin being savage as fuck. And that man, the man's last name, because the Jersey Devil's original name is the something. Oh, what
Pine Barren something or
is that?
another.
The pine? No, it's an actual family name because another tale that is that it was this woman's. The woman had 12 children, and then the 13th
13th child
and she
was
just
the Jersey
and
Devil.
and she was
Yeah.
so, this child's would be the devil, and it turned out that they were the devil. But another story from it again, the same last name from Pennsylvania. Again, he got into a war of words in almanacs between him and Benjamin Franklin, and Benjamin Franklin went total savage on him, and now that name is linked with the Jersey Devil. It's another link to the Jersey Devil name.
Absolutely.
I gotta look. I'm gonna look that up while we do the talk.
Was a very petty person. Most of your founding fathers were
Oh
very
yeah,
petty people.
100%.
Well, I mean, your founding father, you can be, right?
Yeah. I
So
guess
there you go.
I guess you earned it. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to talk to you guys real quick about. I'm going to do one, and then I'm going to call on you guys to do
Sure.
another one because I'm having a tough time talking. Getting over.
Oh,
the
yeah.
sickness and
No, I
shit.
understand.
Yeah.
Last name was Leeds. The lead because he's initially called the Leeds Devil.
Oh, okay.
If you guys hear me coughing in this, I'm very sorry about this. But
No.
the first one I'm going to talk about, like I said, I talked about this before in Paranormal Gumbo. It's called the Grunch Monster.
Ah, that's an
Have you
interesting
guys
name.
ever heard of this?
I haven't heard of
Right
that.
out in New Orleans.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay, see, I'm always eager to learn about New Orleans folklore.
Grunch Road Monster is what it's called. Apparently, in the 1700s, Marie Laveau, everyone's heard of her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was called in to be a midwife. And apparently, the devil baby was being born. Not the devil's baby, but a devil baby.
But a
was
devil
Mm-hmm.
baby. Okay, yeah. Just one
And-
of the lesser ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and realizing what this was, she decided she didn't need to unleash this on the world. So she took a pair of scissors and cut the boy's testicles off.
Ah,
Okay.
And when they hit the ground, they turned into 3 foot tall. Some say they're bipedal, some say they're walking on all fours, reptilian looking creatures attacked her, beat the shit out of her,
Ah.
pretty much left her for dead. She fell unconscious. When she woke up, the Grunch Monsters, which we're calling them now, and the devil baby were gone.
Ooh.
And to this day, you can look it up online. Garbage men around the road have reported seeing reptilian-looking creatures, which are probably just like alligators. But they've reported seeing them around the Grunch Road area of New Orleans.
Interesting.
The story goes, and I don't know how true this is, but after this happened, Marie Laveau decided to give up her voodoo ways and became a good practicing Catholic again.
Huh.
So yeah, the Grunch Road Monster. It's basically New Orleans chupacabra, but instead of like sucking a little bit of your blood out, it's going to suck all of your blood and organs out.
Yeah. And of course, because it's New Orleans, they have to be made of like testicles. So yeah.
Yeah,
Of course.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, a lot of people don't know about that.
That's
Angel-
interesting.
That is an interesting one.
It's
I've
also
never heard
interesting
of
that she decided not to do quote unquote like voodoo anymore because there's the good side and there's the bad side and the good sided voodoo is some of it, a lot of it's tied to Catholicism when they started blended in the Catholic faith into their rituals because rituals go hand in hand with both of those.
Now, This is going a little bit off topic, but I actually have had some voodoo cast on me before.
Oh, okay.
When I was about 15 years old, my dad decided, hey, we're going to become fruit peddlers during the summer. So we bought a truck, bought a shit ton of fruit, and we would travel around, trying to sell fruit and vegetables off the back of this truck. I got a very bad case of sunstroke. Very bad. Like the next day I couldn't get out of bed.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Like I was basically pissing myself because I couldn't get out of bed.
Right.
Had a headache. My grandfather came and said, hey, come with me. I'm bringing you somewhere. This woman's going to do something to you. When she's done, you cannot tell her anything. You can't say thank you, or else it's gonna mess everything up. He brought me just down the road, just a little bit down the road. Saw this woman, and her granddaughter was beautiful. I wanted to talk to the granddaughter, but I couldn't because at the end I just got up and left. But over a 5-minute period, she rubbed my head. She said some prayers. And as she was doing that, I started feeling better.
Right.
Oh, wow.
At the end, my grandfather had to carry me pretty much to her. At the end, I was able to walk away.
Yeah.
I pretty much walked home.
Yeah.
Don't know what the fuck happened, but she basically cured me.
Someone put a hoodoo on you.
Yeah.
Which is a hoodoo is the bad side of voodoo, and that's the curse side of.
It was sunstroke.
Right.
Like when she was doing this,
It
like,
may not
she
have even
started
been
sweating
that someone
profusely.
did anything to him.
Could have been.
They could have been.
Yeah,
just like,
some stuff in voodoo is
ritualistic
just-
belief can get you through a lot of things too.
Some of the stuff in voodoo is about, just cures of things.
Yeah, it's not all evil and shit.
No.
But yeah, the strangest thing was while she was doing this to me, she started sweating profusely. She's like, I'm just taking the heat out your body. And at the end, I felt fantastic. And I couldn't tell the woman thank you. I just got up and walked away.
Right.
I felt horrible about that because that's not how I was raised. But,
Right.
But going back to the Grunch Monster.
The Grunch Monster.
Grunch
Grunch
Road.
Road.
That's an interesting
Grunch
one.
Road.
I've never heard of.
I've
that
never
one.
heard of that one either.
That's very cool. Absolutely.
Yeah, they've got pictures online of people that have posted, hey, look, it's a Grunch Monster. And it's a bunch of, tall grass. And there's some shit. It looks like dogs.
Right.
But squint your eyes and shake your head a little bit. And it might be. So yeah, that's my first one.
Cool.
So
Shit.
I'm going to go to Jay now.
Okay, I want to go and focus a little bit more on the Mothman, because the Mothman is kind of intriguing for me. One of the things in researching this is a lot of these things, like maybe this is just something somebody saw and they didn't know how to describe it, and then it just the tumbleweed starts picking up more and more as it goes down the line. So there's thoughts that the first sighting of the Mothman was actually a sandhill crane. Which, being from here with the Sandhill Crane Refuge here in Gaucher, that was one of the first things that kind of piqued my interest on that. And yeah, those birds have like tremendous wingspans, and when they're standing up, they can almost be as tall as a human being.
Yeah.
And if you're from West Virginia, not saying West Virginia is backwards. In fact, Point Pleasant is actually a very, very developed area of West Virginia. But if you're from West Virginia, you don't see sandhill cranes just ever. Like they're not part and parcel to land there. So if you see this strange bird that you've never seen before and it's in shadow and you know what's going on, maybe that's where. And so like one of the things is kind of trying to tie practical to the mystical. Like, was the Mothman a sandhill crane? And the thing that kind of gets me away from that is one of the telltale characteristics of this thing is this glowing red eyes, and like together glowing red eyes. And I've never seen a sandhill crane in a position or something like that would have that kind of stare to it. So I think that's a novel idea. I think it's like it explains a good deal of it, but it doesn't explain that one part, and that one part is very striking to me. So like in y'all's researches, or just glance throughs, did you notice they say it's this, but it's probably actually this to kind of ground it. Like with the Grunch Monsters, you can't really ground that. You get, because the story in of itself is just steeped in mysticism. But again, if you're traveling,
very fantastical.
If you're traveling down a road and see something in shadow, you're not seeing the whole picture of it. So with say Bigfoot or Jersey Devil, is there anything you guys looked up with y'all stuff that might have some sort of actual root in reality that has been used to try to explain it away?
Yeah. So one of the things I'm gonna hold off and talk about, but the other thing that I talked about, because some of these, like those are two monsters that you talked about, and then this monster are in the newest the American Cryptid version of the Horrified game. And this is one that when we've been playing it, we're like, oh, I've never heard of this one. It was the Ozark Howler. And I looked up some stuff with it, and it actually, you know, in the game, there's like bad omens and stuff that it's connected to, but I couldn't really find anything with that. It just basically said this is kind of like a giant, like bear-like thing with horns. But with that one, there's a lot of stuff like, oh, it could be like some giant cat or some type of bear or something. And there was a couple of instances where they have like, it's been, you know, that this particular sighting was a hoax or that particular sighting was a hoax. So,
yeah, and not the one I'm going to talk about specifically later, but I think the only one I can really think of that comes to mind as far as like, especially popular cryptids that's not American, it's the Tasmanian devil, because it's like, you know, at one point that creature may or may not have actually been. There's pictures of it from the early 30s.
You mean the Tasmanian tiger?
The Tasmanian tiger, which may be where the Tasmanian devil came from.
Well, the Tasmanian devil is an actual animal,
right?
Like
the tiger is as well. The Tasmanian
right. It's just that it's been long extinct.
Yeah. Right.
Well, they thought. I mean, they found one in the 1900s. But.
Yeah, right.
I remember that. Yeah.
But yeah, not anything I can really outside of Bigfoot, which could just be like, you know, a large ape creature. Not really. Most cryptids that I looked into are all sort of like, you know, deep folklore kind of things.
Well, I've got something for you, Jay.
Oh, okay.
So, one of my first real jobs that I had was animal control for Jackson County.
Okay.
I didn't know this, but there was a man who had a zoo in Jackson County illegally. And he had some animals escape.
I think I know of this. Yeah, I never went to it, but yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
He had some animals escape, and most of them were caught, but one of them that wasn't, we would get calls about. They're like, hey, there's a big hairy man in my yard, and he's climbing trees really fast. It might be a Bigfoot. You may want to come out and see it. There's a white-handed gibbon.
Oh, wow.
That was in Van Cleve.
For
years.
Wow.
Yeah. And he would just like swing from branch to branch. People would see it every now and then, give us a call.
And he's got so much acreage to just chill.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Oh, yeah. He was living his best life.
There was also a traveling zoo one time that there was some stuff that escaped nearby as well. There could have
that over in Pascagoula.
No, it was in the Escataba area, I think. And a friend of mine, I stayed over his house. He lived on the far west side of Gregory, which is more wooded area. And one night I was over at his house. I was like 15 or 16 or whatever, and we heard what sounded like a woman screaming like a banshee in the woods. Nope. That was probably a panther.
Yeah. I've seen panthers before.
Yeah,
in the woods.
Or something of that.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
My mom told me a story of there's near Richton, where I'm from. There's a we call it a quarry. It's kind of a quarry. Gravel pit is really what we call it.
Did you throw shit in it?
Yeah, that's a lot of times when, especially I think back when my mom was in like school and stuff, they would go there to do stupid things, and they were like. But they heard that there was some kind of like thing out in the woods, and so they all went and got into the back of a truck and was driving through the gravel pit, and she swears up and down that something jumped into the back of the truck, and they were pretty sure it was like a panther or something like that.
Nice.
I believe it.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
And this could all because. Good Lord, I don't even remember when my mom told me this, but I do remember her telling me that story. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the woods before, and I've heard and seen shit that I can't explain. You know, and it's like I said earlier. I want all of these things to be real.
Right.
Well, I know I told you two this.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've said it on the actual recording, but I want these things to be real. I want everything we talk about to be real. So
yeah. No. With me, I think it's something interesting to think about and talk about, but I don't hold it too much weight. If you know, most of them are probably hoaxes. But if you're like looking at this stuff just as like a hobby, that's fine. If you're trying to make money off of people, you're
at what point, like, you see something you can't really explain, and you're not with the intent to try to deceive anybody. At what point does it become a hoax, or what point does it just become folklore that just kind of gets passed by, and then like the more you hear it, the more the tale kind of wins with itself?
The intent is there. A hoax is you're intending to trick people. At least to that's what I believe. But,
right.
You know, you seeing something that you can't explain and trying to explain that to people, and then it sounding like something fantastical is a whole other thing. Because you're not intending to necessarily fool people, you just can't necessarily explain what you're talking about.
Right.
But then there are people who are literally out there. They're faking the Bigfoot footprints, and
I mean, there's
trying to
that. That's
sell them
definitely a
and shit.
problem.
I'll co-sign.
A lot of the stuff I watched, I mostly watched footage of stuff when I was preparing for the episode, because much like talking, I think off mic about how when you were doing research, Brady, you read books that were not one book specifically that wasn't.
Yeah, I had
there.
I happen to have like a cryptozoology encyclopedia.
Right.
It's not like a full encyclopedia. It's like a smaller book,
and it was mostly just
it was very dry. and
radio instructions
boring, but it also didn't have like it didn't have the Mothman in it.
Right.
It didn't have the Jersey Devil in it.
Most of the stuff I watched, they had like legitimate scientists and doctors on there, talking about mainly just. I know this is like, it sounds like, you're trying to pass through it without actually explaining anything, but really a lot of these can't be explained. Some of these situations where it's like we can't scientifically prove or disprove. Not all of them, for argument's sake, but definitely there is a chunk of them where they can't really explain a lot of the situations. Like, for example, the one I'm going to bring up right now is the Goatman. Are you aware of the Goatman?
Yeah.
Well, the Goatman actually, there are two. I'm sure you do, Aaron. But there
That's
are
the reason why Aaron's here.
there are.
He's fact checking without having to look at the internet.
Well, he can call me
Yes,
out
I've
on
heard
my
of it.
shit then if I'm not like speaking correctly. So there are two different areas in the United States where the Goatman is like, it's a localized thing. It's like one is in Maryland and the other one's in Texas. Correct me if I'm wrong, Aaron. Okay, so I believe this is the Maryland one, but after I get done, you can correct me if it's the other one. So in the early 70s, a teenager was having a party for her friends over at her house, and they claimed that they saw something through the window that looked like it was like maybe like a short figure with horns. And then the next day, they found their dog close by with its head decapitated from the body. And then there was, I want to say the one in Texas, there's a bridge involved, right, Aaron?
Yeah, in the railroad.
Right. If you go over the road without...
Bridge is the Mothman, but I think, the railroad part is...
Well, there's a bridge with
the
there's a
railroad
bridge
bridge?
with the
Goatman
Goatman
as
as
well.
well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you go over the bridge with your lights off, he might attack you, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and also he can use the bridge and the railroad to lure you to your death.
Mhm.
Yeah, he
Interesting.
he can hypnotize you with his voice or his eyes, depending on which story you're hearing. But he'll lure you towards the railroad tracks, and you'll get hit by a train.
And there's
Or he'll
been
beat you with his car.
and there's been there's been more sightings for the the bridge version of the cryptid than the other version of the cryptid, mainly because of just the tie to location there, where you have like a rural bridge just in the middle of nowhere, and it's really dark in the woods. And
Those you're hearing are literally a Goatman bipedal just walking around.
just walking
That's
around.
just a
Just
black
chilling
goat,
out.
just
Just a
walking
goat.
on its hind leg.
Yeah.
Because that's what
Tom
you do when you're a
that's
black
Tom
goat on a
and-
Friday night.
That's Tom and just hanging out from the witch.
Yep.
You
Dude, I
know,
love the witch.
I do.
and
Yeah.
Black
Yeah.
Phillip, I knew right away.
Yeah.
That motherfucker's evil.
Yeah. But yeah, the Goatman, the image representation is very much like a satyr, Pan, Ceranos, or the most recent picture of the Goatman as representation would be the Baphomet, the Catholic / Christian imagery for what they think the devil looks like from a couple hundred years ago, but that's all taken from Greek mythology and Celtic religions and things like that as far as imagery goes. But yes, the Goatman was very interesting. Also, the chupacabra I found out was like there's two chupacabras. There's one.
Okay.
Several different types, yeah.
There's one in Mexico and then there's one in the Philippines or something like that, right?
Oh wow.
Yeah, the one in the Philippines has like razorback kind of like thing going on.
It's got spines on its back, pretty much.
Oh, that's cool.
Like
It's
stands
pretty much
upright.
the same thing,
But it stands upright. I think.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
let me ask this question. To me, we've talked a lot totemistically, like Mothman, Goatman, things like that. Is there a totemistic bent towards American cryptids?
towards just American cryptids?
Just the American cryptids, or is that something for cryptids across the world? Like, I know it's about, like, you know, basically, for the lack of a better term, I can think, non-scientifically proven life. So there is a spectrum to go there. But for me, it's the strongest parts about these are their animal, the fact that, again, the Mothman, the Goatman, the Jersey Devil. Devil is a bit more Judeo-Christian, but then you look at the descriptions of it, and there's very totemistic figure
mainly
descriptions.
their animals. And that's why a lot of
So is that
people
just
say-
cryptids around the world? Because
I think it's really cryptids around the world.
Okay.
In my opinion. Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. They've got some really fucked up cryptids everywhere else, and they're not all totemistic. It's like I was telling Ethan, one of my favorite ones. I think it's from the Philippines. And this is probably going to get edited out, but I'm gonna tell you guys about it anyways.
This is a butt fucker, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Absolutely is.
Yeah.
It sneaks into your house at night, and if you're a man, it fucks you in the ass.
Oh, damn.
And here's the kicker. It whispers in your ear, tell everybody about this, or I'll be back.
Oh, wow.
What does this thing look like, by the way? Oh, you don't
Does
know?
it
I know one thing it has.
A dick.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe it's a ghost dick. I don't know.
What's it called again? What's
I can't think of it
the
right now
butt
because
fucking cryptid?
Yeah, it's-
Jesus Christ. That's
So
that's an
the
interesting
disclaimer at the front is usually mature subject matter or mature language. So I may have to augment that one a little bit for this
one.
one.
Yeah.
Immature subject matter with mature language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again,
Right.
Now, Kate, does that play on, like, societal fears? Does that
I believe it does because
Localized
Yeah.
societal fears.
I mean, okay, let's say the first dude that it happened to, he was actually raped, and to get over, hey, I was just raped by this dude. I'm going to say that it was a mythical creature.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
I mean,
So basically, imperfect solutions to try to avoid
Possibly.
embarrassment, maybe.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think also if we looked at it a little bit more, we would probably see that there are a lot of less totemistic North American ones, and there are also like it. So that encyclopedia.
Well, I mean,
that
the
was
first one we let off with, I'm like,
Yeah.
what totem do you ascribe that one to?
Yeah, the
back one.
Yeah.
and when does a cryptid become a cryptid? Like, is Slender Man a cryptid? I don't, or is it just creepypasta?
Yeah.
You
know?
know, it's probably starting out as creepypasta, but
And
it's
then
gonna go
eventually
into cryptids.
become a cryptid of its own.
Yeah.
I would say it's at that point now.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
people have claimed to see it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, oh, I saw, Slender Man in the woods.
Right.
You know,
That's like the tall man.
fucking grandkids right now. Siren Head. Have you heard of it?
Yes.
Oh my
I haven't
god.
heard of that.
I've not heard of that.
That one hasn't made it yet for me, but I could, like, especially younger kids.
Yeah.
Like, just imagine just walking around and then just all of a sudden, like, a thing with a siren on its head blaring away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
Oh,
creepy
wow.
as fuck.
Yeah. And it tracks you down and eats you.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just
crazy.
Yeah.
a giant, creature with siren heads,
right.
makes a noise, alerts you that it's coming, and just snatches you up and eats you.
Oh wow.
Prepare to
I want
die.
to know the dates of when that started to circulate, because giant creature coming around to eat you paired with sirens going off
Yeah.
feels a lot like Attack on Titan for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder just if just those two motions of that story may have melded
Eight-ish-
together on the
eight-ish,
internet
10
and
years
they just
ago.
kind of went
Yeah, the
forward.
first time I heard about it was probably about 4 years ago. So, I mean,
I wonder if
it's
I wonder if that's an issue. But again, I think that goes to just storytelling in general. Just like, a tale gets told and then it gets added onto, or things get chopped off, or things don't get spoken about.
I mean, that's going to be one of the cryptids I'm going to talk about. And it's like I told these two, it's probably going to piss you off a little bit when I talk about it.
Let's
but-
let's do it now. Let's rip that Band-Aid. Let's go.
Well, I mean, here it is. I mean, I gave you guys a description of cryptids earlier, right? I mean, what is one thing that a lot of people believe in, but they have no proof of? God. And not just like, the Christian God, but all the gods. They're told through folklore throughout the years, and eventually people believe in them. So, I mean, that's that Band-Aid I'm ripping
So
off
is
of you.
so is God a cryptid? That's a novel notion. It doesn't piss me off. I'm of the opinion that, and this statement may actually piss people off. Everyone worships eternity in their own way. Everyone worships the infinite in their own way. Whether you put it in one form or in the form of nothing. which is one of the reasons, like for our atheist friends and our atheist passengers, I'm not saying you worship in that regard, but I believe there's an innate respect for the infinite and for what has come before that we do not know, and what will come after us that we will never have a chance to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think that we in some ways we personify. Some reason we find it. Some people find it in nature. Some people find it in the sheer lack of existence of it in the first place. So no, that notion doesn't offend me. Like full disclosure, lapsed Catholic. I lost the church, but I kept the faith. Is my best way to put it. Until they start, respecting the fact that children are getting raped around the world, and they're just tour busing their rapists to other parts of the world. Once we can get over that, then I'll be happy to genuflect back in the church. But until that's addressed, and for that reason, my opinion on that obviously is just one voice out of a million, and so it doesn't really register. But for me, yes, I believe in God the Father, the Almighty. I can give you the whole Apostles' Creed right here. That is what I believe in there. Until the church shows me that they still believe that, then I'll come back to it. So, but yeah, no, however you choose to worship, however you choose to define your existence and the existence of the infinite, that is entirely up to you. And as long as you're not hurting anybody doing it, I'm all for it. We may actually find the actual answer together if we can talk about that more in a way that is both civil and collective. I would like to. It could, again, the Mothman for me is the one that, like, I don't know what it was about that movie. I think it was that moment in the movie that kind of like this communal, like, because a story about the
brought
thing
everyone together.
Brought this whole like, we all went our own separate ways, whether it was back to Ole Miss or over to Memphis, or maybe they got on a plane and flew an entire side of the country because they were just visiting family. A story about this creature brought everyone together in this one moment that we all have together for the rest of our lives.
And that's fantastic. I love that.
So again, one of the reasons why I kind of like bringing up totemistic, and we can go maybe talking about God, just the mythical nature of these things. You want them to be real. I wouldn't mind them being real, but them being mythical kind of makes them untouchable, unknowable, and that's what fascinates me about them. For instance, was the Mothman evil? Let me ask this question to the travelers right now.
Completely unknown. I mean,
because
was he trying to warn people?
We have evidence one of two ways. It's you either believe that the Mothman is there. It's like something bad's gonna happen. You don't know when. And then the Point Pleasant Bridge falls. Or was he be like trying to go to people and going like, hey, this bad thing's about to happen. You need to prepare yourself. And because he's so alien, he can't tell you that. He doesn't. The communication's not possible. So is he a force for good or is he a force for evil? I don't know if I want that answered. I don't know if I want that answered because the mystery is what kind of drives me and intrigues me about that.
Until we can ask him, we'll never know.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think there are like as far as like in the folklore, there are a very few instances of docile cryptids. I mean, Bigfoot, I guess, is probably a big one.
Depending on which one you.
Well, I mean,
are you going to classify Bigfoot and Yeti as the same thing?
No.
Why not?
No, I'm just like, Yeti is not an American cryptid, but I mean, they're similar in some ways and they're different in others. So
is Bigfoot Sasquatch or is that another interpretation?
It probably depends on who you're talking to, I guess.
Together, but
right.
It all depends on the part of the country because this is a huge country.
The specific footage of Bigfoot, from the 70s, just like, hey guys, leave me alone. I'm walking into the woods. That guy was.
He's just an introvert.
He's just like, hey guys, leave me alone.
I do remember reading of.
He would drink pour over coffee.
So
Bigfoot would drink pour over coffee. I'm just gonna put that out.
Yeah,
there right there.
Bigfoot is a hipster. When I was young, my aunt on my dad's side, she didn't have any kids, so and they were pretty well off, so they would buy me a lot of stuff for Christmas, but it would be like educational stuff. But then one year she bought me like these small collection of these small books, and they were all like supernatural paranormal things. Like some of them were like of Stonehenge and Easter Island, and some of them
like Time Life Mysteries, maybe.
No, they were these like kids books almost.
Okay.
But like there was one about psychics, and there was also one about oddly enough one about killer bees, which are not as when you're growing up, you think those are going to be more of a problem.
Oh, yeah.
than they really are.
Same
That-
thing with quicksand.
That and quicksand.
yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
quicksand, right?
Yeah.
Dude, they had that scare tactic for those bees for like a decade.
Yeah. That book scared the shit out of me too.
My girl. That's all I gotta say about that.
But they had some about. They had a book about Bigfoot, and then they had a book about the abominable snowman. And I remember reading in the one about Bigfoot where they were talking about there were supposedly some accounts of a Bigfoot attacking like a camper in the woods, or like this. Well, it wasn't even really a camper. I think this was back in the day when he was just like a frontiersman or something like that. But mostly we think of Bigfoot as more of a docile thing, and sometimes I think to counter that point, I think when you look at like most of like all the cryptids, and this includes ones that we're not really talking about and thinking about, most of them are docile. Like your Loch Ness monster and your Lake Champlain monster, like those
The
are
PP
just
monster.
yeah.
That's a real thing, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to talk about it, but keep going.
Yeah. Most of them
Finish
are,
up though,
are
because
docile.
this intrigued me. But keep going.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't really have much to say after that. It was just, I think most of these are just because, to be honest, like these are cool to me. These are cool to think about. If they exist, that would be cool. But like, I don't really put much stock into that. But they are an interesting, fun thing. To me, they're like a fun thing to maybe think about and talk about and look at. So
Except for the Goatman, I don't want to like run into that guy.
Yeah,
well,
fuck that
fuck
dude.
that guy.
That guy's
That
scary.
dude wants to kill me if my lights aren't on a bridge. No.
Yeah.
I want that. Guru Aaron Bernard of the Lash. Give us more cryptids.
So I'm saying the name wrong intentionally. It's probably pronounced Peepie Monster. But I'm saying PP Monster.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
P-E-P-I-E.
Well, when he was talking about the Lake Champlain monster and Loch Ness, this is a cryptid that supposedly lives in the Mississippi.
Oh,
Okay.
Usually they see it in Montana, not Montana, Wisconsin, and Minnesota.
Oh.
Native Americans have reported seeing it. It's supposed to be a large snake-like creature with large body. Lives in the Mississippi. It's been reported as far south as St. Louis, I believe.
Okay.
So we've never seen it down here.
Right, of course.
They've got a dude that's like, dude, if you ever get proof, I'm going to give you $50,000.
Yeah.
It's got a website, got
Yeah.
email,
I mean, if I get proof, I'm going to want more than $50,000.
Oh, fuck yeah. I mean, absolutely. It's like, if
You're
you
probably
have a
gonna
big
spend $50,000 getting proof.
Yeah.
I want 50,000 and my medical expenses paid for having to find this thing.
Yeah.
I want 10% of the backdoor rights to the TV show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it the Peepie. So Peepie, what does he do? What's his thing?
Just swimming around.
Yeah, just like the Loch Ness.
I think like
Like
most
swimming
cryptids,
around.
they just kind of chill and they're around.
Unlike most cryptids we're talking about, though, Loch Ness was
yeah, I think Loch Ness.
Loch Ness has been outed.
Yeah.
A couple dudes
I think
with
lot of
a sailboat and a really shitty camera came out and been like, you know what? Here's the actual thing that we did,
I
and
want Loch
showed.
Ness to be real.
Yeah, they showed the actual pictures of what they did.
Well, I think a while back they figured out like, oh, okay, we like did like sonar on the lock and like this thing.
Well, the thing
of
about
this
that is they've
proportions couldn't
They've got
exist.
so many places that it could hide. I mean,
They had
Like
This
they
motherfucker
literally
to my grave.
like using sonar, they like mapped the entire lock or whatever lake or whatever, and they were like, this can't exist. But then I could be mixing that one up with another lake monster.
No, you're absolutely right. They
did the same thing, and and it might have been the Loch Ness, or it might not have been. I don't remember.
Yeah,
but where
you're
they said,
absolutely
like,
right. That's what they did. I remember reading about that, doing research for Paranormal Gumbo, but I still wanted to exist.
Yeah. Oh, well, I was
Right, of
to
course.
be honest, when I read that, I was like, oh, that's a little bit
right.
It's
Yeah,
like
I
the
kind of
Congo
felt the same way
monster.
when
I
I
like
found
it to
out
be
about
real.
Loch Ness.
I like the idea, the ambiguity that it may or may not exist. Deep down, I know probably it doesn't
I would
exist.
love for it to exist.
And
That'd
I'm
be
not.
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
I'm not.
Cool
I'm not going to
stuff.
go on expeditions to find out. I'll read about shit, but like, the ambiguity is I think is what's fun.
It's
to
like
think
the
about.
dinosaur they found in the Congo in the early 1900s, late 1800s. I want that to be real. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, apparently they found a brachiosaur in the Congo.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, I want that to be real.
I mean, there has been some archaeological shit that's been like, like in Peru, they found shit that matched stuff that was in Mexico. They're like, what's this doing?
How'd
here?
this get here?
Yeah.
Well, one of my favorite things, on fossils and shit like that, they found a hammer, a metal hammer with a wooden handle in rock that's 400 million years old. They found it in the middle of 400 million year old rock. How the fuck does that happen?
Right.
But the
Right.
the Loch Ness monster, the Congo dinosaur, we don't know. It could have been real at some point in time. It's like the Thunderbirds. You guys know about the Thunderbirds?
Yeah, I know about the
I read
Thunderbirds.
a little bit about
in
them.
in the West.
Jay, do you know about the Thunderbirds?
Supposedly, they killed a Thunderbird that had features similar to a pterodactyl. It didn't have feathers, had a alligator-shaped mouth, and it had leather wings.
Right.
So, well, what the fuck is that?
Looking very much like Quetzalcoatl from Aztec and mythologies.
Well, the ones I want to talk about. So, like I said, I was just like, I knew we were probably going to talk about some of the more well known ones, but I just like did a quick search of like, hey, what are some cryptids that are in the Mississippi that are known around Mississippi? There's not a whole lot, but one that I did find. Have y'all heard of the Dogmen of Taylor, Mississippi?
I've heard of the Dogman, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't look too much up on them, but I do know.
Apparently, I even found there's a YouTube link where you can find the a local news report where they're talking about it. These in Taylor, Mississippi, which is an incredibly small town. They started having like hearing things like howling at night and livestock was being mutilated and everything like this. And they even showed this one lady supposedly took a picture, and it's a super blurry picture like they all are, but you can make out like an almost like dog, like big dog, like what you would think of like a werewolf, basically,
a knoll. D&D nerds.
Yeah, and you can see like a glowing eye. It's very hard to see, but it's an interesting thing. And then they had one crazy looking guy. I know exactly what this is. That's the Loop Garoop.
Yeah, Loop Guru.
Yeah, he said no. That's exactly how he said. That's the Loop Garoop. I thought that
There is no P in Guru.
He said it. He said it.
For those of you unaware, it's also called the Rougarou.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
that's
like
an interesting.
I like that name more so for it. Basically, it's the Louisiana / New Orleans werewolf.
But yeah, and there's even, you can find, threads on Reddit where people are like, hey, I'm planning on going to Taylor, Mississippi. And I'm like, whatever you can find, it's not worth it. Like
that was one of the places we were actually going to start traveling and doing stuff in different areas.
You had started, I thought.
Yeah, we did a little bit, but
because I remember some of those recordings sounded like you were driving like 2 locations.
Yeah.
Or was I misremembering that?
Well, we did one where we couldn't get together here in the studio, so I did mine in my car.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Gotcha.
And you can tell the audio quality. That's why we kind of stopped doing that, because the audio quality was bad. But we were about to start doing, hey, we're going to go to this place. We're going to go to this place. And Taylor, Mississippi was one of them.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw it.
Yeah, apparently it's still happening. They're still having these sightings and these problems that, it all gets sexualized. The people are apparently getting terrorized. I don't know. But I thought that was an interesting one, because that's extremely local.
Right.
Well, relatively speaking, it's in the same state, but I'm talking about like that's an extremely local thing. Like that's not a big.
It's not in California.
Yeah,
it's here
Mississippi's
in
own Dogmen of Taylor.
There's a so the Pine Barrens, right? That's where the Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
There is this amazing YouTube video from like the New Jersey like travel board, and they're not it looks like a setup for a trailer for a movie. Like it's like ironically it's just like, welcome to the Pine Barrens. We have all these lush, and it's like going into like all the cool things you could do going to the Pine Barrens. And I'm thinking, do these motherfuckers not know that there are like 80 miles of like shit where there are like people that live in there? Like, regardless of if you believe in the Jersey Devil or not, there are people that live in the Pine Barrens and will probably murder you.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big-time dumping spot for the mafia.
Right.
Yeah, I was thinking I'd be more worried about the that Russian guy from The Sopranos running into him.
Also true.
They never resolved that.
They never-
They just dumped him out there, and he was just still alive.
He was
Like,
shot in
well,
the head, and
well,
he
yeah,
just kept running. It's a good episode. It's one of the
Come
best
to the
episodes.
Pine Barrens. It's lovely this time of year.
Yeah, you might see somebody dump a body.
We need fresh meat for the Jersey Devil.
Speaking of the Jersey Devil,
the Russian from Sopranos should be an American cryptid.
Yeah,
That'd be
I
great.
mean, he
That'd
basically
be-
is.
oh
at this
my
time.
God,
Aaron,
yeah.
have you ever seen The Last Broadcast? It was actually the second found footage film. The first one was not the Blair Witch Project.
It was actually the first one filmed, and it is also the first film ever digitally distributed to theaters.
Actually, I found out, Jay, that it's not the first found
not the
footage.
first one? Which
no.
one was it?
I don't remember the title, but the first one came like almost 8 years before that,
Okay.
and it's shot on really bad video quality. But
what I knew about that one
The
thing,
Last
and I apologize
Broadcast.
for it,
Yeah,
but
it's fine.
To me, the cooler part about that,
Yeah.
as far at least for like motion picture and cinema,
mm-hmm.
it's the first film to basically digitally transmitted to, like, they didn't have film. It was a digital. It was a digital,
Right. But it looks like
file
film,
sent to
though.
that. Oh no, it
Yeah.
was shot on film.
Right.
Like, that was. It's just that
Right.
the film was
The Last Broadcast, 1998. Yeah. It's great. It's a great film. It's found footage. It's basically just this one guy and the camera guy, and they're going to go out to the Pine Barrens and try and figure out if they can get any footage of the Jersey Devil, and it is really good. So
there's two ways to do that style of movie, and to me, one is the Blair Witch, where you just let the footage they've shot set for itself. And the way they did it in The Last Broadcast, it was presented as a documentary.
yes,
With and to me, it honestly, it makes it work better because it's still that rooting in the real.
Right.
You can lose yourself a good bit in the Blair Witch because that movie can engross
well, if you watched it in the first week when it was advertised as something that actually happened, which is what happened to me, and that movie scared the shit out of me. And then a week later, it's like all the people that are on the show or on talk shows, like, "Hey, we're on Blair Witch." I'm like, "Oh, you fucked it up," but
Well,
you know, they had to give credits to the actors.
Some people might have been out. No, well, that's actually
Also true.
The actors actually got fucked on that because they weren't allowed to like come to the premiere or anything.
Right.
Like that. So they didn't actually. So their careers didn't go anywhere.
Right.
Because they weren't allowed to be around anything to get that exposure. It really kind of screwed them over. And the really famous part of Blair Witch that everybody remembers where the woman's doing the kind of monologue really close to her face. She just did it. She just went off and did that shit herself. Like that wasn't in the script. She just went off and filmed that herself off the top of her head.
That's a really good monologue. My favorite scene is the guy just standing in the corner.
Yeah. That's the other part that people.
Right.
well, that's
really
the ultimate
remember.
scene.
Yeah.
Right? Which if you were paying attention and didn't get motion sick in that movie, that's a really good, like, that's set up very well.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's what the children did.
So.
They stood in the corner.
It's a callback to the beginning of the
Yep.
film.
It's callback. Good callback. Cryptids though.
Yeah.
Cryptids.
Maybe the Blair Witch
There,
will.
from The Last Broadcast, there's like a line in there that still to this day gets me, where it's like that even though that these murders were a product of a modern age, there were still telltales, and like just the oh my god, it was perfect. Just that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's a really good film. You should check out.
We might want to do The
Broadcast.
Last Broadcast as a watch along movie, because
Maybe I'll have
that
the-
one's got a lot of fun stuff. That one's got a lot of fun stuff too.
We'll find out.
Maybe I'll watch, or I'll have the Last Broadcast audio while watching a Charlie Brown Christmas tonight.
There you
Oh
go.
my god, that
Wasn't there a found footage movie about Bigfoot?
There might have
were
been.
I'm going to
Bigfoot.
say yes and feel confident that there was one, but I couldn't give you a name for one.
You're absolutely right, Brady. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head though.
I remember it not being
My
well
favorite
received.
My favorite Bigfoot movie, Harry and the Hendersons, man.
Oh yeah, can't
Gotta-
beat it.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, absolute.
Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, when like 12-year-old me read about the Mothman, scared the fuck out of me.
Because that was a book from like 1975-ish. Yeah, I think so.
Scared the dog shit out
And
of
took him like 19 years to finally do an adaptation of it
me. Yeah.
into the movie The Mothman Prophecy.
Yeah. Like, you know, I'd get off of school and I didn't want to be alone in the bathroom after dark taking a bath or a shower. So as soon as I got off school, I'd go take a shower.
No.
I'm like, Mothman's going to come fucking get me, man.
Does marketability help these stories?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I definitely like
100%.
I definitely think it helps the areas because you look at Point Pleasant, West Virginia. They have an annual Mothman I'm not say convention, but like a Mothman week where
festival
it's
thing. Yeah.
yeah, they have a statue of him in the thing. Like close to 12,000 people visit every year just for that reason.
You got to look at like Roswell.
Yeah.
A lot of people say aliens are cryptids.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that in the next few years they're gonna come forward and say, "Hey, aliens are real." Shit's already starting to happen.
So
look at Roswell.
Yeah.
So real quick, found footage films. I have to mention this. So,
Okay.
like Jay and Brady have heard me talk about this short film series before.
Is this going to be on Jody Bingo? Let's talk about really obscure movies.
No, it'll probably be on Fearology.
Hold on.
This movie.
Yeah, when Jody Bingo happens,
Yeah,
it's gonna
yeah.
be, which someone else is gonna have to do J Bingo because
right.
it's just the way it is.
So this movie had so many scenes in it that were a series of short films that had so many scenes in it that looked so realistic that the police were investigating to make sure it wasn't snuff. The guinea pig Devil's Experiment is one of the first found footage films from the 80s. They actually note Cannibal Holocaust because there was definitely footage they used from other things that they didn't legally film for that movie because of some of the grotesque shit that was in it that I refused to watch that film for. But
The
anyway,
animal shit. Yeah.
They were murdering animals. For that
they
movie.
didn't murder animals.
But that's okay.
They
yeah.
used footage that they acquired that had that in it.
That's true.
But I still don't want to see it for that
Yeah,
reason.
the only movie that's allowed to murder animals is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
But again,
Children are animals.
and one of my favorite,
Also, the chicken that got its head cut off.
Oh yeah.
one of my favorite French films.
Blocked out that part of the movie.
I'm sorry to remove that block.
Man Bites Dog from 1989 is a found footage film where they film crew follows a serial killer as he's murdering people.
Oh, nice.
There's a couple like that. Really off topic, but Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
That's the Michael Rooker movie.
Yep.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
welcome to Not Cryptids.
Welcome
Yeah.
to, Michael Rooker's a
Welcome
cryptid.
to Tangent.
No.
the podcast.
Michael Rooker is a cryptid.
If one celebrity is
Henry
a
Lee
cryptid,
Lucas is a cryptid.
I love this shit, Michael Rooker. The one year that I went to Pensacon, he was there.
Oh,
The
man.
hotel Greg and I were staying at. I woke up early, went and got some breakfast. He is in the friggin' lobby of the hotel.
Hell yeah.
He's got a box of donuts. He's like, "Would you like a donut?" And you look at the fucking box of donuts, and he's taking a bite out of each one of them. I was like, "It's just the fucking greatest thing I've ever seen."
Oh man,
I love it.
Michael Rooker is awesome.
Yeah. Somebody want a donut?
That's awesome.
I don't know if I'd be able to sleep in the same hotel.
That's straight fucking. That is straight
that I
fucking.
knew
cryptid.
Michael
He was
Rooker.
there.
I wouldn't be able to sleep after that. Like after that, I'd be like, man, we might need to find a new.
Anytime you saw him
new
on
hotel.
screen, you'd be like flashbacks of donut time
Yeah.
with
I'll
Michael
tell you what,
Rooker.
I did get to have a couple of drinks with one of my favorite wrestlers. Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Oh hell
Oh,
yeah!
wow.
Fucking awesome dude.
He seems to me like a cool dude. Like sit
Yeah.
down and have a beer with.
Yeah.
Again, also might be a cryptid.
Also,
seriously,
blew out Roddy Piper's eardrum in a chain, a dog collar match. Yeah.
The chain on
So
the
you,
dog.
you guys were talking about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Willy Wonka. Deep Roy was there, and I hit your laptop. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's quite all right.
Deep Roy was there. We shot the shit with him for hours.
Nice,
It was friggin'
nice.
awesome.
That's one of my
love
few favorite things about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, he's from the lesser Chocolate Factory movie.
That's good shit. So who's got another cryptid they want to talk about?
I didn't do much research on it, but I did find out like there's another like Louisiana one, the Honey Island swamp monster.
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all may know more about that.
I have
just
no idea who that
I didn't
is.
really do.
Not a
It's
ton.
basically like a Louisiana Bigfoot. Basically, he's
I love
like
the Louisiana islands because you either might get spicy hot sauce or a monster.
Yeah.
No in between
maybe
at all.
spicy hot sauce made by a monster.
Monster.
Who
Who
knows?
knows?
I would put that shit on a burrito right now.
I legitimately do believe that Tabasco was made by a cryptid originally, and
Probably.
we stole it from them.
Probably. But yeah, I didn't do too much research on it, but I looked at it and then turned my eyes towards the Dogman because it was actually
Is the how many of y'all are familiar with the film Mimic?
yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
That was
is
the
it- is-
Mira Sorvino movie.
I believe so.
That's the one where it's the evolved cockroaches.
It was like the evolved insectoid. Yeah.
Is that based off of
Is that
cryptid?
based? That's what I'm asking, Aaron. Do you know if that's
That's-
based off any cryptids? Are there any insectoid cryptids of that kind of nature?
Was that a Guillermo del
I
Toro
think that's
movie?
Yeah,
a Guillermo
yes,
del
it-
Toro movie.
yes.
Yeah.
They do have insectoid cryptids, but not really the mimic type.
Right.
Like they've got giant locusts and shit like that. A mantis man is one that I looked at before, where it's basically just a man-sized mantis,
Oh, okay.
which
See
would
that-
be terrifying.
Jesus.
As fuck.
Have you
Oh,
seen
yeah.
the pictures of that big fucking moth that they found, I think, in like the Pacific Northwest? This thing's got a wingspan of a fucking bird.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
nice, nice.
Yeah.
Some of them get ridiculously big, and it's
Yeah.
That's
So I'm
frightening.
sorry that just came up.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Mothra exists. Let's,
But
that's
no,
good
like
to know.
something like that,
Right.
Without scientists there to like
Right.
trying to classify it, like
Right.
That would become a cryptid.
That goes cryptid real quick.
Yeah.
Like the giant squids they find sometimes. They're like ridiculously
They
large.
sort of- That's a cryptid.
Giant squid basically is a cryptid,
Yeah.
you know, considered mostly
That
because
they-
we still
they've
don't
actually
have
found.
like
It's a Kraken.
full on
Yeah.
proof of it. Yeah.
No, they've got proof of it. They found fucking squids that are like 40 feet long. It's like, holy shit, man! This is
That's
huge.
ridiculous.
So,
Yeah, the stuff that's at the bottom of the Marinara Trench.
yeah, absolutely.
Stuff
Not
that's-
Marinara.
I'll tell you what's
the
at the bottom.
Marianas.
Mariana
I want
Trench.
to, no, the bottom of the marinara
Marinara.
trench is just straight up breadsticks.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
breadsticks and fucking garlic bread.
Breadsticks,
That's what I'm talking
mozzarella
about.
sticks.
Yeah.
Also.
And I was agreeing with you like a fucking idiot, man.
Yeah,
I am an idiot.
I knew you
so
were wrong, and I was.
I
agreeing
knew
with
I
you.
was wrong as soon as I said it.
Yeah.
It's a fat boy.
Because
they
I
got,
said
like,
it the
chips and
second
sauce in
time.
front of you.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
Marinara Trench.
I'm down for the marinara trench.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk to the higher ups at Pizza Hut. I know
Fuck
you
they-
know them all.
I need that. That's our fourth shirt. Is
That's off
I'm
the-
down with the marinara trench because I want some idiot, some bitch to walk over and say, you know that's Marianas. I'm like, bitch, you don't know about breadsticks.
I want
Just
5% of that one too. I was here.
Just
I
off
was
the
here.
Come on, 7.5 on that one, but you only get 2.5 on the bumper stickers.
Done.
Any food based cryptids?
That's what
Food-based cryptid.
Yeah. Or like ones that like are involved with like they like Yogi
Yes,
Bear.
Like
no,
some
I
Food
saw a
of the
documentary
Gods or
about this
some
one. Pizza the Hut.
Oh yeah, there you
he-
go.
He ate himself.
Jesus
after
Christ.
Not
that.
made out of food, Jay.
Jesus Christ.
You
Are you
know,
annoyed with me, Brady?
No.
much like
It sounded
the
like you were annoyed.
maybe
with me.
there's a cryptid that specifically wants to eat a specific kind of food. You know,
It,
Feed 'em
it's usually
Seymour.
blood.
Yeah.
That's what most
That's
of them
true.
like.
Feed
Yeah.
me, Seymour. That shit.
feed me Seymour.
Shop of Horrors.
yeah, he's
I don't know
he's a
of any
cryptid.
right off the hand that are plant-based cryptids.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we
that
got-
would be cool though. Like,
it would be like a fucking cabbage that wants to eat you.
Yeah.
Or kill a
which
tomato.
is okay because it's a cabbage that I wouldn't want to eat because I don't like cabbage. So,
There
yeah.
is one of
there you
these,
go.
and it was in the documentary Godzilla versus Biollante.
Oh, Biollante.
It's on the Criterion Collection.
Yeah. Everything's on the Criterion
that's in the
Collection.
That's in the Heisei era. They haven't made a Criterion Collection of the Heisei era. It's just the
Would you say it was documentaries and shit?
documentaries and shit.
He said it. Blank and shit. He said, but mark that down on your bingo.
I was looking at it. I'm like, he's got to fucking say it.
Mark
man.
it. Mark it on the bingo.
I don't like this joke anymore.
It's a
It's
funny
okay.
joke. What?
Oh, hold up, Brady's not hosting the episode.
Yeah,
make sure you get
yeah, that was
number
earlier.
four.
You could
Yeah.
already, yeah.
Yeah, we've only marked two things, so
Yeah.
Give me a hipster movie reference. Maybe some recommendation.
You know what? No.
you.
Calling Godzilla versus Biollante.
boom. There you go.
that's a hipster movie reference. Mark
Done.
it down. Mark it down.
Cool, right,
Mark
Brad?
it down.
That's
Mark
not
it down,
even
Jody, if you
close.
want to win.
I'm not marking that
You don't
down.
wanna win then,
No,
okay?
that's
You're not a winner.
That's not a hipster movie reference.
In all fair, I did refer
Calling-
to the Godzilla Heisei era. So
No.
yeah.
Okay.
Mark it.
Okay.
Mark it.
You see, this is kind of fucked up because the only way I can win is if Brady goes mad crazy or he has a fucking stroke. I mean, we're not going to be on for very much longer, I think.
There you
So
go.
I mean, goddamn.
Do you want to pull the bus into the
yeah, you can
station?
pull the butt. This
You're
bus
the host,
into
man.
station
Fuck no,
anytime.
man! I can talk about this shit all
Man,
night.
you've got hipster on here like 5 times.
a ton, right?
That's
What
the joke.
fuck? Are you a fucking hipster?
That's
dude?
the whole
No.
joke. That's the whole joke.
So this next cryptid, don't know how good it is because it was only spotted by one man, but I mean, it's a cryptid.
Those are rookie numbers.
Shut the fuck up, Brady. So, the giant space brains of Palos Verdes.
Are you stroking?
I might be.
Okay, there we go.
That's not on the bingo.
So my throat is still kind of raw from
Space
being sick
brains.
and all the coughing and shit.
Okay.
And the friggin-
Space brains?
the sweet Thai chili almonds.
Space brains.
Yeah, space brains of Palos Verdes.
Mm.
sighted initially in 1971. Apparently this man went home, and there were 2 glowing, gigantic brains floating outside of his house. Freaked the fuck out, ran away, went to a friend's house. There were 2 people, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Went to a friend's house, and they're like, hey, look at this shit, and they were gone.
Oh.
So he tells everyone about this, and of course no one believes
Yeah, of course not.
So he undergoes hypnosis sometime later.
Mm-hmm.
Thought I had to burp. And I did.
Mm-hmm.
So let me get to where he undergoes a hypnosis. In 1976, after 5 long years of wrestling with his memory of the blue brains and wondering about what happened during those lost hours, Hodges finally decided to undergo hypnotic regression. So during the session, Hodges recounted that he had dropped Rodriguez off without incident and then returned home. Upon his arrival, he was terrified by the sight of 2 big blue brains waiting for him outside his house. At this point, Hodges apparently lost consciousness because his next memory was waking up in what he referred to as a control room. The control room is lined with what seemed to be computer consoles. Hodges stated under hypnosis that he was confronted by a group of bald, thin-lipped, 7-foot-tall, gray-skinned humanoids with no less than 6 webbed fingers and toes. These strange humanoids made it clear that the blue brains were nothing more than organic translation devices, which enabled them to converse telepathically with human beings. Basically, they showed him a TV screen and said, hey, these areas right here have too much power. And some areas around the world, and showed him footage of another world that had accumulated too much power and destroyed itself. Basically told him about shit that was going to be happening in the future. War in 1983. You got to tell people to stop. And basically, the world didn't end in 1983. Of course, we all know this shit, but
Right.
he's claiming that it's because the aliens came to him and told him about it. He told the world about it, and it eventually got to the higher-ups in the government. And they're like, hey, we did go to war in the Middle East in 1983, just like this dude said. Maybe we shouldn't drop nukes on anyone else.
Maybe he fell asleep during a midnight movie matinee and watched Fiend Without a Face and fell asleep during Rasputin.
Yeah, that was just the...
But that's cool, though. I like that story.
What's this dude's Patreon? Because I'll kick him a few bucks.
That was a
Like,
very
if he
detailed,
if he saved the Earth, then I
hypnotic adventure there.
That reminds me of, there is a song on the Tool album 10,000 Days called Lost Keys Blame Hoffman. Is that the first one? It's a 2-part song. But it's basically about this guy who was abducted by aliens, and they told him that he was the chosen one, and he had to spread the message to people to save the world. But everybody was going to think he was crazy. That's basically what the song is. It's a pretty cool song. It's Lost Keys, and is there
Could Maynard have been inspired by that then?
The Blame Hoffman is from it's also hinted that this is him. Instead, he wasn't actually abducted by aliens. It's an LSD trip, because Hoffman is the name of the guy who invented LSD.
Yes, mark down hipster musical reference.
Yeah, it's close enough.
He's also being insightful. So.
There you go. And Brady being insightful. Yes, knock that in there too as well. Well, I put Brady being insightful. That's literally respectful to you. You're being very insightful, and I wanted to note that down.
How about the Honey Island Swamp Monster? He wasn't insightful, so I'm marking that one.
Mm-hmm. I can't. I'm not going to give you that one. I'm sorry.
Fuck you, Jay. Fuck you.
It's okay. Nobody's going to get bingo because the ones that count
Hoffman is the first part. The second part is called Rosetta Stoned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it may have been. I mean, they were using the blue brains to communicate with them, sort of like a Rosetta Stone.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be like the dudes in Tool, like they follow a whole bunch of weird shit.
Where was Maynard born? Like, was he born in California?
They're all in California.
Okay, I'm like, that would have been a story that would have been around him. Like, it's a reach. It definitely is a reach because this is the first I've ever heard of it. But I mean, you never know.
Mm-hmm.
And the main reason I chose that one, it's really weird.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Two people know about it. But I'm going to a D&D reference here. I mean, it resembles a bunch of D&D creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Thought Keeper or the
Especially
Thought Eater
now.
or some shit like that.
Also some sci-fi
especially now
shit.
that Spelljammer is out and we have D&D in space again.
Absolutely. There you go.
D&D in space, that's where you want it.
All right.
Yep.
All right, Aaron.
I'm sorry I wasn't a little bit more insightful about some of this.
No,
shit,
Aaron.
but,
No, Aaron.
no, you-
Wait, hold on.
I've been
hold
trying
on.
not to die.
did
Full
great.
stop. Full stop. This has been highly enjoyable.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's a little bit weird too because when I listen to y'all shit, you guys are always talking on top of each other. That hasn't been happening here, man.
Yeah.
We've been
Fucking, you haven't been interrupting Ethan.
Well, yeah. There you go. That's 90% of it.
yeah.
No, it really isn't. Like, take it from the man who does the edits.
We do have
We interrupt each of us all the time.
We
and
do.
everywhere. There's actually been more interruption than you think there has been in this episode. It's just very surreptitious.
Right.
It's literally like, and I think we've gotten used to. Let me say something a little quick, and then just kind of fade back, and just like hopefully someone heard that. So okay, let me get another car in on this bus.
Yeah,
Boom,
I know there have been a couple of times when I'm like,
Yeah.
and then it's like yep,
No,
and
they
then
keep
and then
talking.
boom, there it is. Yeah, there's been a little bit more. Trust me, we sound civil now because we're in the moment. When I go back with like and have completely forgotten about all this, and then start editing it, it's like, God, we're assholes to one another.
the real fighting's when we do chalkboards. That's when we do a lot of.
I would love to be on one of those. I mean, I know I'm inviting myself, but I want to be on like a list episode.
Episode 25, which will be in 3 weeks.
What are you guys doing it on?
Haven't figured that
We
out
don't.
yet.
We don't know.
It could be
And to
literally
be honest,
anything.
everybody who's ever been on those,
You know what? Actually-
they knew it like the day of.
Wait a minute. So ladies and gentlemen, this bus is rolling into the station, and we're gonna jump the gun. There. So, episode 23, which is gonna be next, is going to be a very special episode. It's gonna be our second omnibus games. I will be the main game giver, and the winner of that episode gets to pick what we do for episode 24. We could be doing anything. God only knows. Will Ethan decide? Will Jody decide? Will Brady decide? Whoever wins the omnibus games, we will find out. Episode 25. Our top 5 wrestlers of all time. Whiskey and wrestling is not invited. Aaron Bernard is.
Yay! I think I've already told you guys my top wrestler of all.
Well, now you're gonna tell.
Nope.
You're gonna tell the world.
You know, I'm not opposed to that because I'll tell you why. Besides the fact that I do like enjoy wrestling quite a bit. We do these every 5 episodes. At some point, we're gonna have a top 5 list of everything that's ever existed, as long as we keep doing the show.
I want to be on the top 5 list of top 5 lists.
Yeah, that'll happen at some point.
Yeah.
That'll be episode whatever.
100.
Yeah,
There you go, boom.
there you go.
Yeah.
Episode 100 will be a gentle look back at the first
Gentle.
2.5 years. I think that would be about around the time.
Something like
That'd
that.
be about around the 100 episode mark.
The math checks out, maybe. I don't know. I'm not doing it.
Last podcast on the left just did their 505th episode. Their 500th episode was on they've been doing it for like 6 years.
Yep.
On the Salem witch trials. They're just now getting to that. And
wow.
it's a 4-parter and their episodes are 2 hours long.
What?
Yes.
That's awesome.
What's
Yeah.
the one, Extreme History or something like that? The one that has
Hardcore
like
History.
Hardcore History that's like 3 to 6 hours. Like
Also,
there's deep dives.
His entire deep dive on World War I was 24 hours.
Yeah.
they don't.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
we're
there's so much
talking. We're talking marinara trench deep dives.
Yes.
They have-
We're all into the breadsticks.
Just off the coast of
They
Italy.
have side episodes that they don't count as far as their numbered episodes. Those are not included, so they have more than 505
Yeah.
episodes.
Like when I finally have the brains to get the supercast done. But there you go. So, ladies, again, we are hitting the station. Aaron, thank you very much for.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Man,
Aaron.
I
This was
really
very
man.
enjoyable.
It's been a while since I've been on a podcast, and I was really rusty as shit.
we'll definitely have to do it
You
again.
sounded better than at least
You
one of us.
cannot.
I won't say which one because I want the tension to remain.
Yeah, because I mean, like, we need to talk about
It was
some
definitely
paranormal
Ethan
shit
Wright.
at some point.
Dude,
Yeah,
he
I mean,
wasn't here. So
I
you-
absolutely love
Oh,
that.
shit. He wasn't here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. But so this is when we start plugging friends and other things. So Aaron, start it out.
I want you guys to listen to Travelers on the Omnibus.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a good podcast.
wow. It's very generous.
We've been
of you.
plugged inside our own
That's a
podcast.
first.
Plugception.
That's good. Very good. Brady, pick one.
Now, if I were an asshole, I would just repeat the fucking bit that was done last week.
Okay, you're definitely
Do it.
annoyed with me. Mark that down on the bingo.
100%.
There you go.
That was more passive aggressiveness. than
Okay,
anything
passive
more.
be aggressive. Also, get that one locked in as well.
What's Nagano Star? What the fuck is that?
Oh yeah. Oh, you don't know that? Oh shit. You look that up on YouTube. It's a delight.
We can look at it at when after
Yango
the
Star.
show.
It's
Oh
one
yeah,
of the-
you just mentioned it. I got bingo.
yeah.
You got a vote, bingo. We can confirm bingo. All right, Aaron got Nyango. Brady mentions Nyango Star, passive, be aggressive, free space, hipster musical reference, and Brady is insightful.
I will say that's a cheap win because you did bring it up and
Fucking
then you
win's a
had
win,
me
buddy.
talk about that. So,
Win's a win.
you
I was
know.
expecting more of that last week with the
that's
YouTube
not
bingo.
that's I purposely tried not to do that because I tried to be honorable.
I don't give a shit about honor. Win's a win, buddy.
Silence Your Cell Phones is a podcast by our friends Jarrett and Kevin. They talk about movies. They have some really good stuff on there. So, and they also, do some stuff on YouTube. Every once in a while, I think they do some watch-alongs and things like that.
They do the live recording
Live
of
recordings.
their other stuff, so you can watch them live, and then eventually it'll be on all the major podcast networks.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you want to hear some good talk about movies, check those out wherever you find good podcasts.
Yes. Their full names are Jarrett Hubba Bubba and Kevin Humalama Ding Dong.
Yeah,
there you go.
those are you can look them up on
Yes.
social media.
Jody looks pained, so it's the perfect time for him to do the next plug.
Whiskey and Wrestling. It's a podcast. It's got people on it.
We literally watched wrestling with them hours ago.
You can, yeah. Michael, Jason. They talk about wrestling. I'm sure Meltzer will give like that last match 7 stars out of 20 because Will Ospreay took 14 chops to the chest. But
Loud too.
yeah,
every single one of those sounded off in here. I don't mean off the speaker.
Yeah,
we got
they
a wailing echo from Cleveland.
Oh,
just
yeah.
hit us.
Yeah.
awesome.
There you go.
Yeah. Whiskey and Wrestling. Check it out. They're on all the platforms.
McNarb Gaming in Goshen, Mississippi provides us with this fantastic studio space where we record our thoughts and then broadcast them out to the world. The Fools, owner and proprietor Greg Spanier, once karate chopped a dog. The dog was not happy about that and karate chopped him back.
And turn into a cryptid.
This started a war that has lasted for generations, in which dog generations, where dog heroes and dog nurses heal those nurses up. Dog Florence Nightingale is involved in this story now.
Come to McNarb Gaming and give Greg some money for the ongoing dog war.
100% of what Jay just said is true.
Yes, everything we said is true, and the dog Nightingale is now a new cryptid. Spread it amongst yourselves.
Yeah, it's funny.
Create a new
It's good.
folklore.
She
Good
comes to you in
stuff.
times of need.
Real talk and legitimate. Stop by to pick up the not advanced, but the special edition of Spelljammer, the reintroduction of Spelljammer to D&D through 5th edition, and it is available now at McNarb Gaming in Goshen, Mississippi.
Hey, Jay.
Hello.
Tell us about Fearology, you fuck.
I was gonna hope you were gonna tell. We
No.
always have you do it.
No, well, I just did Whiskey
Wait a
and
minute.
Wrestling.
Aaron doesn't know what Fearology is. Plug Fearology, Aaron.
Fearology is a podcast that has people on it
That's correct.
that talk.
Yeah.
One of them is Jody, but he pretends it's not him, and it's J.L. Kite to say that in the plug. I'll totally cut this part out.
I'm sure you won't, but
One of them
okay.
is Jody, but he pretends it's not him.
Yeah.
He goes by JL Kite.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
The
Roasted.
last episode was him and his buddy Phil talking about Devils times 5.
Oh, Devil's Time 5?
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what that is, but
It's
he and his
terrible.
buddy Phil were talking about it.
Yeah. Pretty bad.
Are you getting pissed off over there? Can I mark something else off? Can I go blackout?
Possibly.
I know, right?
There you go.
I don't do that many hipster video game references. I barely fucking talk about video games on this.
Cool.
It doesn't mean that square has to happen all the time. Just that it could happen.
At some point in time, yeah. I mean,
There you
you
go.
can't get every freaking square on.
Like
bingo
I
all
will
the
agree
time.
with. I will 100% agree with you, Brady. You don't do hipster video game references that much.
See, the problem that we're going to have is we're never going to have a J bingo because I don't have the
Printer ink?
patience to do. Well, I have the printer, but
Yeah, he has a printer.
I don't have the patience to do that.
Does he have the ink?
I'll do it.
You're
and
the only one.
Jody
crazy.
can do it.
I'll do it, and I'll like send you the pic, and you can print it out. that way because I don't have a
Ethan
printer.
Could do it.
I don't have a printer. No, let's not let Ethan do it.
Can you imagine
really
Jay
wanna give
Bingo
Ethan that
authored by
power?
okay, real talk. This is literally meant to be light and fluffy and frivolous. Like it's just a pointing out of some. And let me say these little quirks that I wrote down. I don't hate a single one of them. I love you, brother. I do. I think it's very.
Well,
funny.
I'm also an insecure motherfucker. You didn't think about that, did you?
It's okay, Brady.
you gonna go
I am
home and
also
cry?
a catty
Okay,
bitch.
we're like
Yeah, Brady's being a catty bitch. Mark that
we're,
down. We're going for blackout. We're going for blackout on the bingo board.
okay, we're 2 hours and 21 minutes into this.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, it's not over. One of our favorite YouTube channels is How to Drink, and Greg from How to Drink will show you how to drink. It's very self-explanatory. One time he accidentally drank 42 Manhattans and almost died, and he recorded it and still put it on the internet with a disclaimer.
Drink a Manhattan.
Well, okay, so he did a grid with 7 ryes and 6 vermouths, and he did one apiece of each combination, and then he drank them all for one
the
video.
best combination.
Wow.
And it was pretty much the one that was like the Canadian rye with like the French vermouth. I
I
think
mean,
is
after
what he figured
15,
out.
is he still tasting them?
I'm pretty
know.
sure he wasn't.
There was a point where
He
he
drank-
was like, "Oh, this is a mistake."
He drank 42 separate Manhattans.
The,
he didn't drink them all the way, but he would go back to taste a previous one to say,
And he
this
wasn't
tastes a lot
spinning?
like this one. This
No,
one.
he didn't think about that. He did a margarita matrix where he was like, "Okay, I'm not almost killing myself again.
Where's the fun in that?
Well, I mean, he drinks on a YouTube channel, so maybe he wants to, not completely die of liver
Yeah,
failure.
unlike the guys on.
Cirrhosis is a bitch.
Unlike the guys from No Rolls Barred who decided to do battle shots on a 45-minute video.
I'm glad
where
they're still
you
alive,
drink a
but
shot
holy hell.
if you miss, where you drink a shot
If you hit. Yeah.
So you just
So-
take a shot.
Somebody's
just take a
taking a
shot.
shot every.
So of the 2 outcomes, there is no escape.
Yeah.
Nice.
But there you go.
But either way,
So yeah, How to Drink, and he had a super cool episode, and Brady's going to tell you about it and the experiment we're about to do.
he did an episode about like crazy flavors, and there is a thing going around Reddit that is called The Flavor. Somebody found out that if you mix these 2 specific things, it kind of breaks your taste buds, and it is an indescribable taste. He described it. I don't know, but and those 2 things are a cucumber or a lime cucumber. The lime is first. Gatorade. I've tasted this before. It tastes like dirt.
It's fucking cucumber.
Yeah.
Yeah, lime can't kill that.
And then a cranberry, a Mike's Harder cranberry, which smells way better than it tastes. It barely tastes like anything. I don't know. He said that these are a weird, really weird thing, and we're gonna try those, or at least some of us are gonna try those. So I'm gonna pass these around.
Okay.
I've pre-made these.
So these are poured in equal amounts.
They're supposed to be in equal amounts. I don't know if I did this perfectly. So
Just smelling that will wake you up.
Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, as always, drink responsibly. If you're going to do
Yes.
something like this, be at home, just in case you want to go completely super tanker on this.
If you ever wanted to know what Cisco smelled like and wasn't going to, pay up the $6,
There's no, I literally
So-
can't smell anything.
you can't
Like,
smell anything?
So I'm going to
There's
tell you
some-
guys
like-
right now, I hate cucumbers. I fucking hate cucumbers. They're one of the things I cannot eat at all. I can't even stand the smell of them. That's what this is. But it's like I told Jay. I'm going to do anything I can to help you guys with the show.
I appreciate
So
it.
I'm going to fucking drink this. And I'm going to tell you right now, fuck you, Brady.
There you go. Salud. Here we go.
Cilantro.
Here we go.
that's just bad. That's just
I
bad.
taste the cucumber.
I taste the fucking cucumber.
I taste the cucumber.
I might have put too much cucumber in there. And
Well,
Yeah.
You going back further for the Mike's Harder?
Did that help any?
it's just a weird. It's just a weird
Put a little
flavor.
bit in there and I'll see if I can still taste it.
Yeah.
I threw my entire one down, but I let it kind of wash over my lips a little bit.
Yeah, let me get a little bit more of that Mike's Hard in there and see if...
Yeah, I'll do some straight cucumber lime. See what happens.
It
Oh,
tastes
you'll taste that, I'm sure.
I can still smell the cucumber.
Like maybe there was like a hint of cranberry there, but that
And
was
maybe
about it.
also that it's not cold.
Yeah, this isn't cold, and this wasn't perfectly measured or anything like that. I'm doing it in styrofoam.
Because it almost
cup.
tastes like a cucumber flavored Jolly Rancher.
Yeah. It's
I
not.
can still taste the cucumber.
You
It's
can-
fucking horrible.
Oh man,
Yeah,
that is
lime
just
cucumber is bad.
just
right?
eat a cucumber. If you like cucumber, eat a cucumber. And like maybe like squeeze a lime on top of it. Like it's probably better than what I just did.
The cucumber lime Gatorade is it tastes
This
like turd.
does taste a lot like Cisco.
Yeah.
I've had it once.
Oh,
Greg from How to Drink described this as tasting like ozone.
like 03. Yeah, I don't know
Like
where he's
ozone?
coming. I didn't know that. So basically, the ozone layer is made up of cucumbers.
like
Oh my god.
like the way burning electronics
Yeah,
smell.
nowhere fucking near, dude.
I don't know how
Again, this might not have been, perfectly done.
it's
We're not
chemically
scientists.
possible
He
for
ain't a scientist either.
something that has 5% alcohol to have Gatorade added to it to make it burn more. But that shit has some backburn on it.
My shit doesn't burn. I taste the cucumber and I
Yeah.
it's
Right
like
before-
slime
right
on
It
it.
before-
might smells really good if you like the smell of cranberries, but it doesn't taste like that. It's not a very strong taste.
That is rough.
Right before flying, I saw the Mothman. So I was worried that he was gonna maybe the plane's gonna fly apart. And said, no, he was warning me about this.
Yeah.
The Mothman
Absolutely,
came to me
100%.
and tried to warn me.
You sure you
about-
weren't watching an episode of The Twilight Zone with William Shatner while also listening to Star Trek in the background?
No, because that would have been
really bad.
that would have been a combo of two William Shatner things. The thing that happened to me was one thing and a completely different thing. Like I don't know. Like if you were watching, say, Naked and Afraid while listening to Paula Deen, would you want to be naked and afraid with Paula Deen?
Does she have
not
butter?
really.
Yeah, what?
Butter?
It's Paula Deen.
Fuck yeah, I will be.
Okay, there you
I
go.
love butter.
Is this
Like, doesn't that go back in time and just reach in?
Probably. Ooh, man, I think I felt that hit my stomach.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
like that.
You know, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I had a really, really enjoyable night until the last,
5 seconds?
yeah.
That's
You're
usually
welcome.
how our shows go.
That is, yeah.
So, for our special guest,
Aaron Bernard.
Jody Kite.
And Brady Davis.
I'm James McCarthy. Don't drink this shit.
No.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not as bad as I heard, but it is also not good. Plus, you have to go somewhere and buy Mike Harder cranberry and deal with that shame, which I did. So there's that.
Do go looking for cryptids, but do it safely.
How about, you guys let us know your favorite cryptid? I'd like to hear that.
Yeah, sure. Write us in. We have
Yeah.
an email for that, I guess.
Yeah, we've already mentioned traveler feedback. They could have just done that, but cool. Let's put an awkward goddamn spike in the middle of our smooth ass fucking ending.
I'm sorry.
This was a smooth ass ending.
The fuck
Think
was
about
that?
last week.
Well, yeah, compared to that, a train wreck is a smooth ass ending.
Tell that to
No.
someone who's been in a train wreck.
No.
Well, wait,
No.
What?
I was hoping
I'm
he was
not-
going to go mad crazy.
No, I'm not going to go mad crazy. Hit the fucking in recording thing.